Let your body become a little heavier, as if the bed is gently holding you. Allow your shoulders to soften and let your hands rest without needing to move. Take one slow breath in, noticing the cool air arriving quietly. Then breathe out, allowing the day to drift farther away. Nothing needs to be solved right now, and nowhere else needs your attention. You are simply resting while your body continues its calm and faithful work. With each breath, imagine a warm darkness surrounding you. Peaceful and safe, your thoughts may wander, and they can return whenever they are ready. Now begin to notice the quiet rhythm of breathing within your chest. Air enters through your nose, where it is warmed, softened, and gently filtered. Tiny hairs and moist surfaces help prepare each breath for its deeper journey. The air moves down through your throat and into the branching airways below. These airways divide again and again, becoming smaller, softer, and more delicate. They resemble the branches of an upside-down tree hidden inside your chest. At their ends are millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. Their walls are extremely thin, allowing gases to pass quietly between air and blood. Oxygen crosses into nearby vessels, ready to travel throughout your body. At the same time, carbon dioxide moves outward, waiting to leave with your next breath. This exchange happens without effort, repeating thousands of times while you rest. You do not need to guide it or remember each careful step. Your breathing center, deep within the brainstem, continues watching over the rhythm. It responds gently to changing levels of carbon dioxide in your blood. While you sleep, this ancient system continues its quiet conversation with the lungs. Now imagine following one small breath of oxygen into the bloodstream. It attaches to hemoglobin, a protein carried inside your red blood cells. Each red blood cell is soft, flexible, and shaped like a shallow disc. This shape gives it more surface area for carrying oxygen efficiently. The cell begins drifting through the vessels surrounding your lungs. Soon, it reaches the heart, resting safely behind the center of your chest. Your heart is not perfectly centered, leaning slightly toward the left side. It is a strong muscular organ, yet its work is remarkably gentle. 4 chambers receive and send blood through 2 connected circulation pathways. The right side sends blood toward the lungs to collect fresh oxygen. The left side sends oxygen-rich blood outward to the entire body. Small valves open and close, keeping the blood moving in one direction. Their movements help create the familiar sounds of a steady heartbeat. You may notice your heartbeat now, or simply imagine its quiet repetition. With every beat, pressure rises and falls throughout a vast network of vessels. Arteries carry blood away from the heart through strong, elastic walls. Veins guide it back again, often helped by nearby muscles and small valves. Between them lie capillaries, thinner than a single human hair. These tiny vessels reach nearly every living tissue inside your body. Here, oxygen leaves the blood and enters cells waiting nearby. Nutrients arrive as well, bringing energy gathered from meals and stored reserves. Waste products move in the opposite direction, beginning their journey toward removal. All of this happens silently, without creating any sensation at all. take another slow breath and let your jaw become loose and comfortable. There is no need to follow every detail as you grow sleepier. Imagine the bloodstream carrying oxygen toward the muscles around your ribs. These muscles have moved gently with every breath you have taken today. Some muscles work only when you choose to move them. Others continue automatically, including the heart and parts of the digestive system. Your muscles are built from bundles of long, specialized cells. Inside them, tiny protein structures slide past one another during contraction. Even while resting, muscles maintain a small amount of quiet activity. This gentle tone supports posture and keeps the body ready for movement. During sleep, many muscles relax more deeply than they do during daytime. The body becomes still, conserving energy for repair and restoration. Beneath those muscles, your skeleton provides a patient inner framework. An adult human body usually contains 206 bones. These bones are living tissues, not dry or motionless structures. They contain cells, blood vessels, nerves, and minerals arranged with remarkable care. Some bones protect delicate organs, while others support movement and balance. Your skull surrounds the brain, forming a strong and curved protective chamber. Your ribs create a flexible cage around the heart and lungs. The spine supports your body through a column of individual vertebrae. Between many vertebrae are soft discs that cushion movement and absorb pressure. Deep inside certain bones, marrow produces new blood cells. Red cells carry oxygen. White cells support immune defense, and platelets help clotting. Millions of these new cells enter circulation throughout each day. Older blood cells are gently removed and recycled by organs, including the spleen. Your skeleton is always renewing itself through a balanced process of rebuilding. Some cells remove old bone, while others carefully lay down new material. This remodeling helps bones adapt to movement, pressure, age, and changing needs. Even in stillness, your inner framework remains quietly alive. Now let your attention drift toward the outer surface of your body. Your skin forms a soft boundary between you and the surrounding world. It protects against water loss, physical damage, and many unwanted microorganisms. The outermost cells are gradually replaced as new cells rise from below. Older cells move toward the surface, becoming flatter along the way. Eventually, they leave the body without you noticing their departure. This continuous renewal creates a protective layer that is always changing. Within the skin, tiny receptors respond to pressure, warmth, cold, and touch. Some react quickly, while others respond to slow and steady contact. Together, they help the brain understand where your body meets the world. Sweat glands help cool you when your temperature begins to rise. Blood vessels near the skin can widen, allowing more heat to escape. In cooler conditions, those vessels narrow, helping the body preserve warmth. Your internal temperature is carefully regulated around a narrow, comfortable range. A region called the hypothalamus helps coordinate many of these adjustments. It receives information from the body and responds with quiet, automatic changes. Now imagine shrinking smaller, entering the world of a single living cell. Each cell is enclosed by a flexible membrane that controls what passes through. Inside, countless chemical reactions continue in a carefully organized environment. Mitochondria help release usable energy from nutrients and oxygen. Ribosomes assemble proteins from instructions carried in genetic messages. other structures, package materials, recycle worn parts, and maintain the cell's balance. Cells communicate using electrical signals, chemical messengers, and direct physical contact. Many cells replace themselves regularly, though renewal rates vary widely. Cells lining the intestine may be replaced within only a few days. Many skin cells renew over weeks, while some brain cells remain much longer. The body is not rebuilt all at once, but through countless overlapping cycles. You are always both continuous and gently changing. Let that thought become soft without needing to hold it clearly. Your body knows how to continue, even as your awareness becomes quiet. Now follow a small signal traveling along a nerve. Nerve cells, called neurons, carry information through electrical and chemical changes. Some neurons stretch from the spinal cord toward distant muscles or skin. Their long extensions allow messages to travel across surprising distances. When a signal reaches a connection point, chemical messengers cross a tiny gap. Another neuron receives the message and may continue the signal onward. These networks allow sensation, movement, memory, attention, and automatic body control. Many nerves also carry information inward from the organs. The brain receives a constant stream of signals from throughout the body. Most of these signals never enter conscious awareness. They simply help the brain maintain balance, rhythm, and safety. Your spinal cord serves as a major pathway between brain and body. Protected within the spine, it carries signals upward and downward. Some simple responses can occur through spinal circuits before conscious thought arrives. This allows the body to react quickly when protection is needed. Tonight, however, the nervous system can settle into quieter patterns. Breathing slows, muscles soften, and attention begins turning away from the outside world. Let your next breath leave slowly, without pushing or controlling it. Feel the pause afterward, brief and peaceful. Your body is still moving through countless rhythms beneath the calm surface. The heart continues beating, the lungs continue breathing, and cells continue renewing. You do not need to supervise any of this gentle work. For now, you may simply rest beside it. Our quiet journey has only begun, and there is much more to explore. You can let these images fade as sleep comes closer. As you continue resting, imagine the journey rising gently towards your brain, protected within the skull. It remains active even while the body grows still. The brain contains billions of neurons, connected through an extraordinary web of communication. Each neuron may form thousands of connections with neighboring cells. Together, these connections create patterns supporting thought, sensation, movement, emotion, and memory. Yet the brain itself has no pain receptors within its own tissue. It quietly interprets signals arriving from nearly every part of your body. Some signals describe the outside world through touch, sound, light, and temperature. Others report your breathing, heartbeat, digestion, balance, and internal chemical state. Most of this information is processed without entering your conscious awareness. Deep inside the brain, many regions cooperate rather than working alone. No single area contains your complete personality, memory, or sense of self. Instead, these experiences emerge from many networks communicating across different regions. The outer layer, called the cerebral cortex, forms gentle folds and valleys. These folds create more surface area inside the limited space of the skull. Different cortical regions specialize in language, movement, vision, hearing, and complex thinking. They remain closely connected, sharing information in coordinated and flexible ways. Below the cortex, deeper structures help regulate emotion, memory, movement, and bodily rhythms. The thalamus receives much sensory information before sending it toward the cortex. During sleep, This relay changes how strongly outside signals reach conscious awareness. That is one reason distant sounds may fade while you are sleeping. The world continues around you, yet the brain becomes less interested in responding. Let your attention soften now, as though sound itself is becoming farther away. There is nothing outside this moment that requires your immediate care. Within the brain, memory is not stored like a single photograph. Memories are distributed through patterns of activity across several connected regions. The hippocampus plays an important role in forming new lasting memories. It helps organize experiences, places, events, and relationships between details. During sleep, the brain may reactivate parts of recent experience. This activity appears to support the strengthening and organization of some memories. Important information may become more stable, while unnecessary details gradually fade. Sleep does not perfectly record everything that happened during the day. Instead, the brain selects, connects, reshapes, and sometimes simplifies what it has learned. Memories can change slightly whenever they are recalled and stored again. This flexibility helps new knowledge join older understanding. It also means memory is creative, living, and gently unfinished. Tonight, your brain may be quietly sorting experiences without your participation. You do not need to decide what should remain. The sleeping mind can perform its own subtle work. Imagine thoughts from the day settling like dust in a quiet room. Some may rest clearly, while others disappear into the darkness. Now drift toward the back of the brain, where visual information is interpreted. Your eyes gather light, but the brain creates the experience of seeing. Light enters through the clear cornea at the front of each eye. It then passes through the pupil, whose size changes with brightness. The colored iris controls this opening using tiny circular muscles. Behind the pupil, the lens adjusts its shape to focus nearby or distant objects. The focused light reaches the retina, lining the back of the eye. There, specialized cells called rods and cones respond to light. Rods are especially useful in dim conditions and peripheral vision. Cones support color vision and sharper detail in brighter light. These cells begin converting light into signals the nervous system can understand. The signals travel through the optic nerves toward the brain. At a crossing point, information from both eyes is carefully reorganized. The brain compares these signals, helping create depth and spatial awareness. Your visual world feels immediate, yet it is built through rapid interpretation. Even darkness is processed as information, allowing the eyes and brain to adjust. When your eyelids close, they protect the eyes and spread moisture across their surfaces. Blinking normally renews the tear film many times each minute. During sleep, blinking pauses, while the closed lids reduce evaporation. Your eyes may move beneath the lids during certain sleep stages. These movements are especially noticeable during rapid eye movement sleep. Dreams can occur during many stages. Though vivid dreams often accompany this period, the muscles controlling the eyes remain active, while many larger muscles become quieter. This temporary stillness helps prevent most dream movements from becoming actual movements. The body rests safely, while the dreaming brain creates its changing inner world. Take a calm breath and let your eyelids feel comfortably heavy. There is no need to picture every detail clearly. Simply allow the journey to continue beneath a soft and peaceful darkness. Far below the brain, the digestive system follows its own gentle rhythms. Digestion begins before food reaches the stomach, starting with sight, smell, and anticipation. Saliva moistens food and contains enzymes that begin breaking down certain carbohydrates. After swallowing, coordinated muscle waves move food through the esophagus. These waves are called peristalsis, and they continue without conscious direction. The stomach receives food within a strong, flexible muscular chamber. It mixes the meal with acid, enzymes, and protective fluids. The stomach lining renews quickly and produces mucus that helps protect its surface. Food gradually becomes a soft mixture before entering the small intestine. Most nutrient absorption occurs along the winding length of this organ. Its inner surface contains folds and tiny projections called villi. These structures greatly increase the area available for absorbing nutrients. Sugars, amino acids, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water follow different pathways. Many nutrients enter the bloodstream and travel first toward the liver. The liver processes, stores, transforms, and releases substances according to the body's needs. It helps regulate blood sugar and produces bile for digesting fats. It also modifies many medicines and helps remove potentially harmful compounds. This work continues steadily, usually without creating any sensation. The pancreas contributes digestive enzymes and hormones that regulate blood sugar. The gallbladder stores bile and releases it when fatty foods enter the intestine. Each organ performs a distinct role while responding to signals from the others. Digestion is less like a machine and more like a cooperative conversation. Within the large intestine lives an enormous community of microorganisms. This community is known as the gut microbiome. It includes many species of bacteria, along with fungi, viruses, and other microbes. Most live peacefully, supported by nutrients reaching the lower digestive tract. They help break down substances human enzymes cannot fully digest. Some produce compounds that nourish cells lining the large intestine. Others interact with immune cells and influence the local intestinal environment. The microbiome differs between individuals and changes with diet, age, medicine, and surroundings. It is not a single hidden organ with one simple purpose. It is a shifting ecosystem, adapting constantly to daily life. Many gut microbes follow rhythms connected with meals, activity, and sleep. The digestive tract also contains an extensive network of nerve cells. This enteric nervous system helps coordinate movement, secretion, and local responses. It communicates with the brain through nerves, hormones, and immune signals. The vagus nerve forms one important pathway between brain and internal organs. It carries information in both directions, much of it toward the brain. Slow breathing can influence parts of this common communication network. You do not need to force your breathing into any special pattern. Simply notice the next breath arriving and leaving on its own. As the night deepens, digestion usually becomes slower than during active daytime. The body follows daily rhythms shaped by light, meals, movement, and habit. These rhythms are coordinated by internal biological clocks. The central clock lies within a small brain region above the optic nerves. It receives information about light entering the eyes. Morning light helps align the clock with the outside day. Evening darkness supports signals that prepare the body for sleep. One important signal involves melatonin, a hormone produced mainly during darkness. Melatonin does not simply switch consciousness off like a sleeping medicine. Instead, it helps communicate that biological night has arrived. Body temperature also follows a gentle daily rhythm. Core temperature usually begins falling as the usual sleep period approaches. Blood flow near the skin can increase, allowing internal heat to escape. Warm hands and feet can support this quiet release of heat. Later in the night, core temperature reaches one of its lowest daily points. Toward morning, it gradually begins rising again. Hormones, digestion, attention, and physical performance also follow repeating cycles. These cycles continue even without clocks, though outside signals help keep them aligned. Your body is always measuring time through light, chemistry, temperature, and behavior. Now imagine the first layers of sleep beginning to unfold. Wakefulness does not disappear instantly, but fades through a gradual transition. Muscle activity decreases, eye movements slow, and thoughts become less organized. You may notice brief images, floating sensations, or fragments of unfinished ideas. These experiences are common as the brain crosses into light sleep. During deeper sleep, brain activity becomes slower and more synchronized. Heart rate and breathing usually become steady and calm. Blood pressure falls, and the body becomes less responsive to the outside world. Deep sleep is associated with physical restoration and immune regulation. Growth hormone is released in larger pulses during parts of the night. This hormone supports tissue maintenance, metabolism, and repair throughout life. Cells continue replacing damaged molecules and maintaining their internal structures. Proteins are rebuilt, energy stores are managed, and chemical balance is restored. The immune system also follows daily rhythms during sleep. Certain immune signals increase, helping coordinate defense and repair. Sleep does not make the body completely inactive. It changes the kind of work the body chooses to perform. During waking hours, energy supports movement, attention, decisions, and interaction. During sleep, more resources can support maintenance, organization, and recovery. Even the brain performs important cleaning and fluid movement during sleep. Fluid around brain cells appears to circulate differently across sleep and wakefulness. This process may help remove some metabolic waste products. Researchers continue studying exactly how these systems work in humans. The science is still developing, yet the overall picture remains quietly reassuring. Sleep provides conditions that support the brain's natural maintenance. You do not need perfect sleep for your body to benefit. Even periods of rest can reduce effort and provide useful recovery. Let that thought remove any pressure you may feel about falling asleep. You are not required to make sleep happen. You are simply creating space where sleep may arrive. Notice the weight of your head resting against the pillow. Allow the muscles around your forehead to soften. Let the small muscles around your eyes become smooth and still. Your tongue can rest gently, and your teeth do not need to touch. The muscles around your throat continue making tiny adjustments for breathing. Your nervous system watches over these movements throughout the night. If your position becomes uncomfortable, the body may guide you to turn. These adjustments often happen briefly without fully waking you. The body protects itself through small movements, reflexes, and changing sleep depth. It remains attentive in the background while your conscious mind rests. Now, the heart may be beating slightly slower than during the day. Each beat still sends blood through every region needing oxygen. The kidneys continue filtering blood and adjusting water, salts, and waste. Urine production often decreases at night under hormonal influence. The liver continues managing stored energy and maintaining stable blood sugar. The lungs continue exchanging gases through millions of delicate air sacs. The skin continues protecting, sensing, renewing, and regulating temperature. Every system continues its own work while remaining connected with all the others. No organ truly works alone inside the human body. Each depends upon shared blood, oxygen, nutrients, signals, and timing. You are not a collection of separate parts. You are an ongoing cooperation of countless living processes. Let this cooperation feel warm, quiet, and deeply familiar. You have lived within these rhythms since before your earliest memory. Tonight, they continue carrying you gently toward sleep. There is nothing more you need to understand right now. Allow the details to blur into one peaceful impression. Breathing, circulation, digestion, memory, and repair continue beneath the silence. Your body remains busy in the gentlest possible way. and you may become still enough to forget where the journey began. The quiet journey now drifts downward toward the organs resting deep within your abdomen. Here, many hidden systems continue balancing water, minerals, energy, and waste. Your kidneys sit toward the back of the body, protected beneath the lower ribs. Each kidney is small enough to rest comfortably within one hand, yet together, they filter an enormous volume of blood throughout every day. Blood enters through branching vessels that divide into smaller and smaller pathways. Eventually, it reaches millions of microscopic filtering units called nephrons. Each nephron begins with a delicate cluster of tiny blood vessels. Pressure gently moves water and small dissolved substances into a surrounding capsule, blood cells, and most large proteins remain safely within the circulation. The filtered fluid then travels through a long and winding microscopic tube. Along this path, useful water and nutrients are carefully returned to the blood. Sodium, potassium, calcium, and other minerals are adjusted according to changing needs. Waste products remain behind, along with water the body no longer requires. This balanced fluid gradually becomes urine and flows toward the bladder. The kidneys do more than simply remove waste from the bloodstream. They also help regulate blood pressure through hormones and fluid balance. They support red blood cell production by releasing an important chemical signal. They help maintain the proper acidity of blood and other body fluids. These adjustments happen continuously, often changing from minute to minute. A salty meal, a warm room, or gentle exercise can shift the balance. The kidneys respond without needing any conscious instruction from you. During sleep, their activity continues within the slower rhythm of the night. Now imagine the filtered blood returning to the heart, clean and carefully balanced. It passes through vessels that join larger pathways on the journey upward. Every circulation carries information between distant regions of the body. Hormones travel through blood, delivering messages to particular tissues and organs. Some hormones influence growth, while others regulate energy, stress, hunger, and sleep. Only cells with the correct receptors respond strongly to each message. A hormone may pass many cells before reaching one prepared to receive it. In this way, the bloodstream becomes a quiet river of chemical communication. The endocrine system includes glands located throughout the body. The pituitary gland rests beneath the brain within a small pocket of bone. It releases signals affecting growth, reproduction, water balance, and other glands. The thyroid gland lies gently around the front of the windpipe. Its hormones help regulate how quickly cells use energy. Above the kidneys, the adrenal glands produce several important chemical messengers. Some prepare the body for activity, while others support long-term balance. The pancreas releases insulin when blood sugar begins to rise. Insulin helps many cells receive glucose for immediate energy or storage. Between meals, other hormones help release stored energy when it is needed. These changing signals keep blood sugar within a carefully controlled range. You rarely notice this constant adjustment taking place. The body quietly responds to meals, fasting, movement, rest, and emotion. Let your breathing remain easy. As these systems continue their calm conversation, there is no need to remember the names or follow every pathway. You may simply imagine soft signals moving through warm and peaceful darkness. Now the journey turns toward the immune system, spread throughout the entire body. It has no single center and no single type of protective cell. Instead, it includes many tissues, organs, proteins, and circulating messengers. Your skin forms the first broad barrier against the outside environment. Mucus protects the airways, digestive tract, and other delicate internal surfaces. Tears and saliva contain substances that can limit certain microorganisms. Tiny moving hairs help carry trapped particles away from the lungs. Beneath these barriers, immune cells watch for unusual or harmful patterns. Some can surround and digest unwanted particles through a process called phagocytosis. Others release signals that attract additional help from nearby tissues. Certain immune responses act quickly and broadly against many possible threats. Other responses are slower, more precise, and capable of forming memory. This immune memory helps the body respond faster to familiar microorganisms. Lymph nodes provide meeting places where immune cells exchange information. They are found in groups around the neck, chest, abdomen, and limbs. A clear fluid called lymph moves through vessels linking these small structures. Lymph collects excess fluid from tissues and returns it toward the bloodstream. It also carries immune cells, proteins, and information from distant regions. The spleen filters blood and supports responses to certain circulating threats. Bone marrow produces many of the cells used by the immune system. The thymus helps train particular immune cells earlier in life. Even the digestive tract contains large communities of immune tissue. This is useful because the intestine meets countless substances from the outside world. The immune system must remain alert without reacting strongly to everything. It learns tolerance toward harmless foods, ordinary microbes, and the body's own cells. This balance is delicate, flexible, and constantly maintained. During sleep, immune activity follows patterns shaped by the biological clock. Some signals become more active, supporting repair and coordinated defense. Good rest does not create perfect immunity, but it supports normal regulation. Tonight, your body is simply working with the rest it receives. Allow that to be enough for this quiet moment. Now imagine drifting into the soft spaces between individual cells. These spaces are not empty, but filled with fluid and supportive materials. Oxygen and nutrients leave capillaries and cross the surrounding environment. Cells release carbon dioxide, heat, and waste into the same gentle spaces. The lymphatic vessels collect some of the fluid that remains behind. Without this return system, fluid would gradually gather within the tissues. Instead, balance is restored through continuous circulation and drainage. Connective tissues also support the body between organs, muscles, and skin. Collagen fibers provide strength within tendons, ligaments, cartilage, and many organs. Elastin allows certain tissues to stretch and return toward their original shape. Other soft materials hold water and cushion cells against pressure. The body is supported not only by bones, but by countless flexible networks. Tendons connect muscles to bones and transfer the force of movement. Ligaments help stabilize joints by connecting one bone to another. Cartilage creates smooth surfaces where bones meet inside many joints. It reduces friction and helps distribute pressure during movement. Small amounts of fluid help joint surfaces glide past one another. While you rest, your joints are free from much daytime loading. Muscles can soften, and compressed tissues can gradually recover. Your spine may lengthen slightly as pressure decreases between vertebrae. By morning, many people are a little taller than later in the day. Gravity gently compresses spinal discs during standing, walking, and sitting. Rest allows those discs to absorb more fluid again. This daily change is small, natural, and usually unnoticed. Now bring awareness toward your hands, resting quietly beside you. Each hand contains 27 bones arranged with remarkable precision. Small muscles within the hand support delicate and controlled movements. Long tendons connect finger movements with muscles in the forearm. Nerves carry touch information from the fingertips toward the spinal cord. The fingertips contain many receptors packed close beneath the skin. They can detect fine textures, pressure, vibration, warmth, and movement. Your brain combines these signals into a clear sense of contact. Even now, it knows where your hands are without needing to see them. This inner sense of body position is called proprioception. Receptors in muscles, tendons, and joints continuously report position and tension. Because of them, you can move through darkness without losing every sense of yourself. During sleep, this information continues reaching the nervous system. The brain uses it to maintain comfort and adjust posture when necessary. You may shift a hand, bend a knee, or turn your head. These movements can happen briefly while your awareness remains far away. Travel now toward the feet, resting quietly at the end of the body. Each foot contains 26 bones connected by many joints and ligaments. Arches help distribute weight and soften the impact of walking. Thick skin protects areas that meet the ground throughout the day. Sensory receptors help detect pressure, balance, texture, and temperature. When standing, the nervous system makes countless tiny adjustments through the feet. Muscles around the ankles respond to keep the body steady. In bed, these balancing movements can finally become quiet. The feet no longer need to carry you anywhere tonight. Let them feel heavy, warm, and completely supported. The journey now returns slowly toward the center of the body. Here, the diaphragm continues moving beneath the lungs with every breath. It is a broad, dome-shaped muscle separating chest from abdomen. When it contracts, it moves downward and creates space for the lungs. Air flows inward as pressure inside the chest gently changes. When the diaphragm relaxes, it rises and supports the outward breath. During calm breathing, this movement is smooth and energy efficient. The abdomen may rise slightly as the diaphragm descends. The ribs may widen with help from small muscles between them. Breathing is not located in one place, but shared across many structures. The lungs themselves do not contain muscles that pull air inside. They follow the movement of the chest wall through thin surrounding membranes. A small amount of fluid helps these surfaces slide without rough friction. Each breath is a coordinated movement of muscle, pressure, nerves, and elastic tissue. Your body has repeated this pattern since the first moments of life. Most breaths have passed completely unnoticed. As they are passing now, take one slightly slower breath and release it without effort. Then allow breathing to return to its own natural rhythm. The heart and lungs work together through the circulation between them. Blood reaching the lungs carries less oxygen and more carbon dioxide. After gas exchange, it returns brighter with newly carried oxygen. From the heart, it enters the large artery called the aorta. This vessel curves upward, then travels downward through the chest and abdomen. Branches lead toward the brain, arms, organs, and legs. With each heartbeat, artery walls stretch slightly and return. This elasticity smooths the flow between individual beats. Farther away, smaller vessels adjust their width to control local circulation. Active tissues may receive more blood, while resting tissues require less. Temperature, hormones, nerves, and chemical signals all influence this adjustment. The circulation is never perfectly fixed or evenly distributed. It changes continuously to match the body's current priorities. During sleep, many muscles need less oxygen than during daytime activity. The heart can often work at a slower and steadier pace. Blood pressure generally decreases during healthy nighttime rest. This gentle decline gives the cardiovascular system a quieter period. Now imagine entering the heart once more through a broad, returning vein. Blood flows into the upper right chamber, called the right atrium. It passes through a valve and enters the right ventricle below. The ventricle contracts and sends blood toward the waiting lungs. After receiving oxygen, blood returns to the left atrium. It then enters the strong left ventricle, For the journey outward, heart muscle cells contract through coordinated electrical signals. A small cluster of specialized cells usually begins each heartbeat. This natural pacemaker responds to nerves, hormones, movement, and emotion. During calm rest, signals supporting relaxation become more influential. The spaces between beats may grow slightly longer. Still, the heart remains ready to respond whenever the body needs more. You do not need to listen for it or count its rhythm. It has carried you quietly through every day you have known. Let that steady movement become part of the background. The journey now approaches the liver, resting beneath the right side of the ribs. The liver is one of the body's largest and most versatile organs. Blood arrives from both the circulation and the digestive system. Nutrients absorbed from meals pass through the liver before traveling widely. The liver may store glucose as glycogen for later energy needs. It can also release glucose when blood levels begin to fall. Amino acids are processed. Fats are transformed, and vitamins are stored. The liver produces proteins important for transport, clotting, and fluid balance. It also changes many substances into forms the body can remove. Some products leave through bile, while others return to the bloodstream. The liver can regenerate portions of its tissue after certain injuries. Its remarkable capacity does not mean it is impossible to harm. Yet under ordinary conditions, it works steadily and without sensation. Nearby, the gallbladder rests beneath the liver like a small storage pouch. It concentrates bile between meals and releases it during digestion. Bile helps break large fat droplets into smaller ones. This makes it easier for digestive enzymes to work efficiently. The small intestine then absorbs the resulting fats through specialized pathways. Some travel first through lymphatic vessels before entering the bloodstream. Not every nutrient follows the same route through the body. Each has its own method of transport, storage, and use. The journey becomes more complex the closer you look. Yet from a distance, it feels like one smooth and peaceful process. Now imagine the cells of the body receiving energy for nighttime repair. Glucose can be broken down to release energy for cellular work. Fat stores provide another important source during longer periods without food. Mitochondria combine fuel and oxygen through many controlled chemical steps. This process produces usable energy carried by molecules called ATP. ATP powers muscle contraction, nerve signals, transport, and molecular repair. Cells constantly produce and spend this energy in tiny amounts. They do not store very much ATP for distant future use. Instead, it is made repeatedly as the need appears. Even in deep sleep, energy is required for every living process. Rest reduces certain demands, but it does not stop metabolism. Your body is not switched off during the night. It has simply entered a different and quieter mode of activity. Damaged proteins may be repaired or broken down for recycling. Cell membranes are maintained, and genetic material is carefully copied when needed. Antioxidant systems help manage reactive molecules produced during metabolism. Cells also use internal recycling pathways to remove worn components. Some materials are dismantled and reused to build new structures. Others are carried away as waste for later removal. Maintenance occurs everywhere, from skin cells to muscle fibers. The timing and intensity differ between tissues and sleep stages. There is no single moment when all repair suddenly begins. Instead, restoration is a continuous process supported by rest. Let this idea soften any concern about whether you are resting correctly. The body uses whatever quiet time becomes available. Even lying still reduces the work required for many systems. Now drift toward the bone marrow hidden within parts of your skeleton. Here, Stem cells produce new blood cells through carefully guided stages. Young red blood cells lose their nuclei before entering circulation. This creates more internal space for oxygen-carrying hemoglobin. A mature red blood cell travels for roughly 4 months. During that time, it may circle the body thousands of times. Its flexible shape allows it to squeeze through narrow capillaries. Eventually, older cells become less flexible and are gently removed. Their iron can be recovered and used again in new hemoglobin. Parts of the cell are broken down, transformed, and carried away. The body wastes little when useful materials can be recycled. Platelets also arise from large cells within the bone marrow. They help seal damaged blood vessels when injury occurs. Clotting proteins join them through a controlled chain of reactions. Under normal conditions, these systems remain ready but inactive. White blood cells follow many different paths and lifespans. Some circulate briefly, while others remain within tissues much longer. Each type performs specialized tasks within immune defense and repair. All begin from related stem cells, then develop through separate pathways. This hidden production continues quietly within your bones tonight. You may imagine it as a warm, dim workshop of renewal. There are no sharp sounds and no hurried movements, only patient cells becoming ready for the journeys ahead. Let your attention rise toward the skin once more. During sleep, contact with bedding creates gentle pressure across the body. Touch receptors adapt when a steady sensation remains unchanged. This is why you soon stop noticing the weight of a blanket. The brain reduces attention to information that stays predictable. New or changing sensations are more likely to reach awareness. This filtering allows the mind to rest within a stable environment. Temperature receptors continue reporting whether the skin feels warm or cool. The body responds through blood flow, sweat, movement, and changes in metabolism. If one area becomes uncomfortable, you may shift without fully waking. These protective adjustments are part of normal sleep. The body remains gently connected to its surroundings. It does not abandon awareness completely. Instead, it lowers the volume of the outside world. Imagine that volume becoming softer now. Study. The room, the bed, and the air can remain exactly as they are. You do not need to change anything in this moment. Inside, the body's many systems continue their quiet coordination. Kidneys balance fluids, the liver manages nutrients, and the lungs exchange gases. The immune system watches, the marrow renews, and the heart keeps time. Muscles release their daytime tension, while joints rest from movement. The skin renews its surface, and cells repair what daily life has worn. Every process follows its own rhythm while supporting the others. Nothing needs to be perfect for this cooperation to continue. Your body has always adapted to imperfect days and changing conditions. Tonight is simply another opportunity for stillness. Allow the details of this journey to dissolve into warmth. You may no longer remember exactly where we traveled. That is perfectly natural as the mind approaches sleep. Let the body continue without explanation. Let the breath continue without counting. Let the heart continue without listening. And let yourself drift deeper into the quiet inner world. The journey now returns gently toward the nervous system, where signals travel through quiet pathways. Some signals move quickly, while others unfold slowly through hormones and changing chemistry. Together, they help the body respond without disturbing the calm of sleep. Your autonomic nervous system manages many processes you rarely need to notice. It helps regulate heart rate, breathing, digestion, blood vessels, and body temperature. One branch prepares the body for effort, alertness, and sudden action. Another branch supports rest, digestion, recovery, and slower internal rhythms. These branches do not simply switch on and off. They continuously adjust their balance according to your surroundings and needs. During peaceful rest, calming signals often become more influential. The heart may slow, digestion continues gently, and muscles release unnecessary tension. Your breathing also communicates with this hidden network. A slow exhalation can briefly encourage quieter activity within the nervous system. There is no need to control each breath carefully tonight. Simply allow the outward breath to feel soft, unhurried, and complete. Now imagine a signal beginning somewhere within the skin of your hand. A touch receptor responds to pressure from the blanket resting above it. The receptor changes that physical pressure into an electrical message. The message travels along a sensory nerve toward the spinal cord. From there, information moves upward through organized pathways toward the brain. Other signals arrive from muscles, joints, organs, and the inner ear. The brain combines them into a continuous sense of the body. This sense is always being updated, even when your eyes are closed. It helps you know where your limbs are resting in darkness. It also helps the body adjust before discomfort becomes strong enough to wake you. Now drift toward the inner ear, hidden within the bones of the skull. Here, delicate structures support both hearing and balance. Sound waves enter the ear canal and gently move the eardrum. 3 tiny bones pass those vibrations deeper into the inner ear. They're among the smallest bones within the human body. The vibrations reach a fluid-filled spiral structure called the cochlea. Inside, specialized hair cells bend in response to moving fluid. Different regions respond best to different frequencies of sound. These cells convert vibration into signals sent toward the brain. The brain then recognizes voices, music, footsteps, wind, and distant rain. During sleep, the ears continue receiving sounds from the room. Yet the brain often reduces how much attention those sounds receive. Steady and familiar noises may become part of the sleeping background. A sudden unfamiliar sound may still bring the brain closer to waking. This balance allows rest while preserving a gentle form of protection. The other part of the inner ear helps sense movement and orientation. Fluid shifts within small canals as your head turns. Tiny sensory cells detect these movements and report them to the brain. Other structures respond to gravity and straight line motion. These signals combine with vision and information from muscles and joints. Together, they help create balance during standing, walking, and turning. In bed, the balance system becomes quieter but remains available. It still notices when you roll gently from one side to another. Let your head feel supported now, with no need to hold its weight. Allow the pillow to receive every small movement and adjustment. Behind your closed eyes, the brain continues moving through changing sleep patterns. Sleep unfolds through several stages rather than one unbroken state. Light sleep usually arrives first as awareness of the room begins fading. Muscle tone decreases, breathing steadies, and thoughts become less connected. Some people feel a sudden falling sensation during this transition. A small muscle jerk may follow. Though nothing dangerous is happening, the brain is simply crossing between wakefulness and sleep. As sleep deepens, outside sounds become less likely to reach awareness. Electrical activity in the brain develops slower and more coordinated patterns. Short bursts, called sleep spindles, appear during certain stages. These bursts may help protect sleep from minor disturbances. They are also linked with aspects of learning and memory processing. Another pattern, called a K-complex, may appear after a quiet sound. It can help the brain evaluate the sound without fully waking. The sleeping brain is not unaware of everything around it. It continues deciding which signals matter and which may safely fade. Deeper sleep brings large, slow waves across many brain regions. During this time, The body is especially relaxed and difficult to awaken. Heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure often become slower and steadier. This stage supports many aspects of physical recovery and immune function. Later, rapid eye movement sleep becomes more prominent. Brain activity then resembles waking activity in several interesting ways. The eyes move beneath closed lids, while vivid dreams may unfold. Most large muscles become temporarily less active during the stage. This natural stillness helps keep dream movements from becoming full body movements. The breathing rhythm may become less regular for short periods. Heart rate can also vary more than during deeper sleep. Across the night, these stages repeat in cycles. Earlier cycles usually contain more deep sleep. Later cycles often include longer periods of rapid eye movement sleep. No cycle is perfectly identical to the one before it. The body adjusts sleep according to age, health, timing, and recent experience. You do not need to reach every stage in a perfect pattern. Natural sleep is flexible, changing gently from night to night. Now imagine the brain reviewing fragments from the day. A voice, a hallway, a face, or a simple unfinished thought may reappear. These fragments can combine in unusual ways during dreams. Dreams may borrow pieces from memory without copying them exactly. The emotional tone may remain even when the details become strange. Some dreams feel vivid, while others disappear within moments of waking. The brain does not record every dream for later recall. Memory formation works differently while different sleep stages unfold. This is why a dream can feel real and then quickly dissolve. There is no need to search for meaning in every passing image. Tonight, any dream may simply be another quiet movement of the mind. Let thoughts become less orderly if they wish. Sleep does not require thoughts to stop completely. It only asks that attention loosen its hold upon them. Now drift toward the forehead, where the frontal regions of the brain rest beneath bone. These regions support planning, decisions, self-control, and focused attention. Their activity changes as sleep deepens and dreams become more imaginative. The sleeping mind may accept unusual events without questioning them. Places can change suddenly, and time can move in impossible directions. This does not mean the brain has stopped working. It means different networks are communicating in different patterns. Emotional regions may remain active while logical monitoring becomes quieter. Memory fragments can join sensations, concerns, and recent experiences. The result may be a dream that feels familiar and mysterious together. Even without remembered dreams, sleep continues supporting emotional regulation. After rest, difficult experiences may sometimes feel slightly less intense. The brain has had time away from constant decisions and outside demands. It can reorganize activity, while the body remains safely still. Now let the journey follow a thought becoming a memory. A new experience first creates temporary changes in connected brain networks. With repetition, attention, and sleep, some connections may become more stable. The hippocampus helps link details into a remembered event. Cheese ode. The cortex stores different features across widely separated regions. A remembered place may involve color, sound, movement, feeling, and meaning. These features can be reassembled when the memory is later recalled. This reconstruction is usually useful, though it is not always exact. Memory favors meaning and relationships rather than perfect recording. During sleep, recently formed memories may be replayed in compressed patterns. This replay may help strengthen useful connections between brain regions. Skills can also benefit from sleep after practice. Movements, sounds, and sequences may become smoother after restful nights. You are not consciously rehearsing them while lying still. The nervous system is continuing the learning process in its own way. Now imagine signals moving from the brain toward a resting muscle. During wakefulness, motor neurons can activate muscle fibers for movement. At the connection point, a chemical messenger crosses a tiny space. The muscle fiber receives the signal and releases stored calcium. Proteins then slide together, creating a small contraction. When the signal ends, the fiber relaxes again. During sleep, most voluntary muscles receive fewer active commands. Their energy use decreases, and tension can soften across the body. Small postural muscles also release much of their daytime work. The face often becomes smoother, and the hands may open naturally. Let your fingers rest without curling or holding anything. Let your feet turn outward if that position feels comfortable. Nothing needs to remain ready for movement right now. The body can return to activity when morning arrives. For now, stillness is useful and safe. Travel now toward the spaces surrounding the brain and spinal cord. Clear fluid cushions these delicate tissues against ordinary movement. This cerebrospinal fluid also carries nutrients and removes some waste products. During sleep, fluid movement around brain cells appears to change. Spaces between cells may shift, allowing greater exchange in certain regions. Researchers continue studying how strongly these processes affect long-term health. What is clear is that sleep changes the brain's maintenance environment. A sleeping brain continues balancing ions, energy, proteins, and cellular waste. Supporting cells called glia participate in many of these tasks. Some glial cells nourish neurons and help maintain chemical stability. Others form insulating layers around long nerve fibers. This insulation, called myelin, helps electrical signals travel efficiently. Another group supports immune defense within the brain. Neurons may receive attention for thought and memory, yet glial cells quietly make stable brain function possible. The brain is a community, not a collection of isolated wires. Every sensation and memory depends upon many cells working together. Now let the journey become smaller, entering a connection between two neurons. The sending neuron releases molecules into a microscopic gap. These molecules bind to receptors on the receiving cell. Some signals make the next neuron more likely to activate. Others make activation less likely for a brief moment. The receiving neuron combines thousands of these influences. Only then does it decide whether to send a signal onward. Thought itself emerges from countless tiny decisions like these. No single signal carries an entire idea. Patterns spread, fade, strengthen, and connect across large networks. Even quietness has its own pattern within the brain. As you rest, waking networks gradually loosen their coordinated hold. Sleep networks become more active and organized. Chemical messengers also change across the night. Adenosine, which builds during waking hours, contributes to sleep pressure. Its effects decrease as sleep continues and the new day approaches. Other chemicals help support alertness when morning light returns. The body is always preparing gently for the next stage. Now notice how the night supports temperature regulation. The brain coordinates heat production, blood flow, sweating, and small movements. Core temperature usually falls as the usual sleep period begins. The skin may feel warmer as blood carries internal heat outward. This heat can then pass into the surrounding air and bedding. During rapid eye movement sleep, temperature control becomes less precise. The body relies more heavily on the comfort of the environment. This is one reason a quiet, comfortable room can support restful sleep. Still, the body can make adjustments if warmth or cold becomes uncomfortable. You may uncover a foot, draw the blanket closer, or change position These small responses often happen without full awareness. Now imagine the body's internal clock observing the darkness. It does not see a clock face or count minutes consciously. Instead, it measures patterns of light, hormones, temperature, and activity. Morning light provides one of the strongest timing signals. Evening darkness helps prepare the body for biological night. Meals, movement, and social routines also influence daily timing. These signals help organs coordinate their own local rhythms. The liver, muscles, digestive tract, and immune system all follow daily cycles. They do not operate at exactly the same intensity throughout the day. Some genes become more active at certain times. Hormones rise and fall according to repeating patterns. Digestion may prepare for familiar meal times before food arrives. Alertness usually increases and decreases in predictable daily waves. Sleepiness is shaped by both the internal clock and time spent awake. One process measures biological time across the day. Another builds sleep pressure during hours of wakefulness. Together, they help determine when sleep feels easier or harder. Tonight, these two processes are slowly leading you inward. You do not need to understand or manage them. Your body has practiced this rhythm across thousands of nights. Let another breath arrive quietly through the nose. Feel the chest rise only as much as it wishes. Then let the air leave while the body settles slightly deeper. The oxygen from that breath enters the blood within the lungs. Soon, it may reach a neuron, muscle fiber, or repairing skin cell. Some oxygen supports the liver as it balances stored energy. Some reaches the kidneys as they regulate fluids and minerals. Some supports the heart that continues sending blood everywhere. Nothing within the body receives exactly the same share at every moment. Circulation changes according to local need and activity. During sleep, the distribution becomes suited to quieter work. Now imagine cells repairing small amounts of everyday wear. DNA molecules are checked by specialized repair systems. Damaged proteins may be refolded, recycled, or replaced. Cell membranes receive new lipids and supporting molecules. Mitochondria maintain their structures and adjust energy production. Some cells divide, while others remain stable for many years. Skin, blood, and intestinal cells renew relatively often. Many neurons remain with you across most of a lifetime. The body combines rapid renewal with long-lasting continuity. You are always changing, yet you remain recognizably yourself. Every night adds another small layer to this ongoing balance. There is no single moment when repair is complete. Life continues through maintenance rather than perfection. Let that idea feel gentle rather than demanding. Your body does not wait for ideal conditions before helping you. It works with the rest, nourishment, and quiet available tonight. Now the journey begins to widen again. Instead of seeing separate organs, imagine the body as one softly connected landscape. Nerves carry signals like quiet threads between distant regions. Blood vessels form branching rivers through every living tissue. Hormones move like messages through a warm, dark current. Lymphatic pathways gather fluid and return it toward circulation. Bones provide shelter, muscles provide movement, and skin provides a boundary. The brain listens, predicts, organizes, and sometimes dreams. The lungs open and close like slow wings within the chest. The heart repeats its familiar rhythm without requesting your attention. Every part affects many others through continuous exchange. A calm breath can influence the heart for a moment. A memory can change the muscles of the face. Warmth at the skin can help the core release heat. Sleep in the brain can alter hormones throughout the body. Nothing inside you is truly separate from everything else. You are one coordinated process moving gently through time. Allow the words to become quieter now. You do not need to carry them into memory. Let them pass like small lights drifting beyond a window. Your nervous system can continue listening without following every sentence. Your muscles can continue softening without being told. Your breathing can continue finding its own easy pace. The body is already moving through the night. You are free to follow it into deeper rest. The journey now drifts toward the quiet chemistry that keeps your inner world balanced. Every second, countless molecules move between blood, cells, organs, and the surrounding fluid. Water forms much of this gentle internal landscape. It carries nutrients, cushions tissues, controls temperature, and supports nearly every chemical reaction. Some water remains inside cells, while some flows through blood and spaces between tissues. Your body continually adjusts where this water should be. The kidneys respond to hormones that signal when more water should be conserved. When water is plentiful, more can leave the body through urine. When water is limited, the kidneys return a greater amount to circulation. Salt and other minerals help control how water moves between different spaces. Their concentrations are carefully regulated within a narrow and useful range. Even small changes can influence nerves, muscles, blood pressure, and cellular activity. Yet these adjustments normally occur quietly, without entering your awareness. As you sleep, the body continues balancing fluids after the events of the day. Food, drinks, movement, heat, and breathing have all changed this balance slightly. The kidneys, hormones, skin, and lungs now continue their calm correction. Each outward breath carries a small amount of water into the room. Your skin also releases water, even without visible sweating. These losses are gentle and expected parts of being alive. Now imagine the minerals dissolved within the fluid around your cells. Sodium helps control fluid balance and supports electrical signaling. Potassium is especially important inside cells and within working muscles. Calcium supports bones, muscle contraction, nerve communication, and many chemical reactions. Magnesium participates in hundreds of processes involving enzymes and energy. The body stores, releases, absorbs, and removes these minerals as needed. No single organ manages this work alone. The intestines absorb minerals, bones store them, and kidneys adjust their loss. Hormones guide the conversation between these tissues. The balance changes slowly with meals, activity, age, and health. Tonight, these molecules continue moving through silent and orderly pathways. Let the details become soft as you rest. You may simply imagine warm currents carrying everything toward its proper place. The journey now turns toward the mouth, throat, and airways. During sleep, the muscles of the jaw and tongue usually relax. Saliva production decreases compared with active daytime hours. The mouth may become slightly drier, especially when breathing through it. The nose continues warming, moistening, and filtering incoming air. Its inner surfaces contain blood vessels that help regulate air temperature. Mucus traps dust, pollen, and many tiny particles. Microscopic hairs move this material gradually toward the throat. Most of this protective movement occurs without any noticeable sensation. The throat remains a shared passage for air and swallowed material. During waking, carefully timed muscles protect the airway while you swallow. A small structure called the epiglottis helps guide food away from the windpipe. During sleep, swallowing becomes less frequent but continues when necessary. Small reflexes help maintain a clear and open breathing path. The brainstem monitors oxygen, carbon dioxide, and breathing effort. If the airway becomes briefly restricted, the brain can increase muscle activity. It may also bring you closer to waking for protection. These responses belong to the body's quiet background awareness. You may rest because deeper systems continue watching over you. Allow your throat to feel open and easy. There is no need to draw a particularly deep breath. Let the next breath be exactly the size your body chooses. Now follow the air downward through the branching bronchial tree. The larger airways divide into smaller passages called bronchioles. Smooth muscles around these passages can change their width. Their inner surfaces produce protective mucus and contain moving cilia. These cilia beat in coordinated waves toward the throat. They help clear particles that should not remain within the lungs. At the smallest branches, air reaches clusters of delicate alveoli. Each air sac is wrapped within a fine web of capillaries. Oxygen and carbon dioxide cross through membranes. Thinner than you can imagine, their movement follows differences in concentration and pressure. No tiny pump pushes each oxygen molecule across. The gas is simply diffused through the narrow barrier. Red blood cells pass through the capillaries in a single file stream. Hemoglobin changes, shapes slightly when oxygen binds to it. The newly oxygenated blood then begins its return toward the heart. This exchange repeats with every calm breath through the night. Now imagine one red blood cell leaving the lungs. It enters the left side of the heart and waits only briefly. A strong contraction sends it into the aorta and outward circulation. Perhaps it travels upward toward the brain. Perhaps it turns toward the liver, kidneys, skin, or sleeping muscles. Within a smaller artery, the path divides again. The red cell enters a narrow capillary near a resting tissue. Oxygen loosens from hemoglobin and crosses into surrounding fluid. A nearby cell receives it for energy production. Carbon dioxide moves toward the blood for the return journey. The red cell continues onward. Darker now, but still flexible. It enters a small vein that joins larger returning vessels. Eventually, it reaches the right side of the heart. From there, it is sent back toward the lungs again. This complete journey may take less than a minute. The same red cell repeats it many times before its life ends. Your circulation is never still, even when your body feels completely motionless. Let that movement remain far beneath the surface of your awareness. The journey now approaches the skin of your face. Tiny muscles around the eyes and mouth have expressed the events of the day. They tighten with concentration, soften with relief, and move during speech. During rest, many of these muscles can release their effort. The forehead smooths, the eyelids settle, and the jaw becomes heavier. Beneath the skin, blood vessels continue delivering oxygen and nutrients. Skin cells near the surface no longer receive blood directly. They are nourished by diffusion from vessels in deeper layers. New cells begin lower down and slowly move toward the surface. Along the way, they produce protective proteins and become flatter. Eventually, they form part of the outer barrier. This barrier limits water loss and blocks many harmful substances. Natural oils also support softness and protection. Communities of microorganisms live peacefully across the skin. Different areas support different species according to moisture, oil, and temperature. The microbes of the forehead differ from those on the hands or feet. Many are harmless companions. Within the skin's wider ecosystem, they compete for space and interact with local immune defenses. Your skin is not a simple covering. It is a living border filled with cells, nerves, glands, vessels, and microbes. While you sleep, this border continues renewing itself. Now drift toward a tiny cut that is already healed. When the injury first happened, nearby vessels narrowed briefly. Platelets gathered and helped create an early seal. Chemical signals attracted immune cells toward the damaged area. These cells cleared debris and reduced the risk from unwanted microbes. New tissue gradually formed beneath the protective surface. Collagen fibers strengthened the recovering area over time. Small blood vessels supported the growing tissue with oxygen and nutrients. Later, the repair became quieter and more organized. The final tissue may not match the original perfectly, yet the body often restores useful strength and protection. This process continues in countless smaller ways every day. Muscle fibers repair tiny areas stressed by ordinary movement. Bone remodels according to pressure and use. The intestinal lining renews after constant contact with food and microbes. Proteins within cells are replaced after damage or wear. Repair is not limited to obvious injuries. It is woven into normal life at every level. Rest creates conditions that support much of this maintenance. Your body does not announce every repair it completes. It simply continues, quietly and patiently. Take a gentle breath and allow your shoulders to sink. Imagine the weight of the day leaving through the mattress beneath you. Nothing needs to be repaired by conscious effort tonight. The body already knows the next small task. Now the journey enters a resting muscle in your leg. Each muscle contains bundles of long fibers arranged in parallel. Inside every fiber, smaller structures create contraction through sliding proteins. During daytime movement, these fibers respond to signals from motor neurons. Different motor units join depending on how much force is needed. Walking requires coordinated patterns across many muscles. Standing still also requires constant small adjustments. Even sitting uses muscles to support the spine and head. In bed, much of this activity can decrease. Motor signals become quieter, and many fibers release their tension. Blood continues carrying oxygen and removing metabolic products. Glycogen may be stored within muscle cells for future activity. Proteins are repaired and reorganized after ordinary use. Some changes depend on exercise, nutrition, hormones, and sleep. The process is gradual rather than dramatic. A single night does not rebuild everything completely. Yet every period of rest contributes to the larger pattern. Your muscles have no reason to hold you up right now. Let the thighs feel heavy and supported. Let the calves soften, with no need to prepare for a step. The journey moves toward a joint inside the knee. Smooth cartilage covers the ends of the meeting bones. This surface reduces friction during bending and straightening. A capsule surrounds the joint and helps contain lubricating fluid. Ligaments provide stability while allowing useful movement. Tendons carry force from muscles across the joint. During sleep, the knee rests without bearing your full body weight. Pressure across the cartilage decreases compared with standing. Fluid can redistribute within the surrounding tissues. Nearby muscles can release protective tension. The joint remains alive, nourished, and responsive. Cartilage receives nutrients differently because it contains few blood vessels. Movement and pressure help exchange fluid through its structure. Rest and movement both contribute in different ways. The body depends on alternating cycles rather than constant stillness. Daytime movement brings loading, circulation, and mechanical signals. Nighttime rest brings reduced pressure and calmer repair. Your joints live within this repeating rhythm. Now imagine the entire skeleton resting beneath you. The pelvis supports organs and connects the spine with the legs. The ribs rise subtly with breathing and fall again. The shoulder blades lie across the upper back like quiet wings. The vertebrae form a flexible column rather than one solid bone. Discs between them helps spread pressure and permit movement. The neck supports the head through small joints and deep muscles. When the pillow fits comfortably, these muscles can reduce their work. The skeleton gives shape without being rigid. Bones bend slightly under pressure, even when they feel completely solid. Their internal structure combines strength with lightness. Dense outer bone surrounds a more delicate inner framework. This framework follows lines of repeated stress and movement. Bone cells sense mechanical forces and adjust tissue over time. Calcium and other minerals make bone hard. Collagen provides flexibility and resistance to cracking. The skeleton is both mineral and living tissue. Blood vessels travel through it, and nerves report strain or injury. Marrow inside certain bones continues producing blood cells. Even the quietest bone remains part of the living body. Now drift toward the digestive tract once more. The stomach may be mostly empty, partly full, or still processing a meal. Its muscular walls continue gentle mixing when needed. A ring of muscle controls movement into the small intestine. Food enters gradually rather than all at once. Within the small intestine, enzymes break larger molecules into absorbable pieces. Carbohydrates become simple sugars. Proteins become amino acids and smaller peptides. Fats are divided and packaged for transport. Villi and microscopic microvilli create an enormous absorbing surface. Nutrients cross through intestinal cells into blood or lymph. Water and minerals follow according to local conditions. The remaining material moves slowly toward the large intestine. Here, water continues returning to the body. Gut microbes ferment certain fibers that human enzymes cannot digest. This fermentation produces short-chain fatty acids and gases. Some of these fatty acids support cells lining the colon. Others enter circulation and may influence distant tissues. The microbiome also interacts with bile acids, vitamins, and immune signals. Its activity changes after meals and throughout daily cycles. Sleep, diet, medicine, and stress can all influence this ecosystem. The community is resilient, though it can also change over time. Tonight, trillions of microbes continue their quiet chemical work. They do not know. They belong to you. Yet their lives have become connected with yours. Imagine this inner ecosystem as a calm, dark forest. Different species occupy different spaces and use different nutrients. Some grow, some decline, and others remain stable. Balance does not mean every species exists in equal numbers. It means the community continues functioning within changing conditions. The immune system washes its border carefully. It must respond to danger without attacking every harmless organism. Mucus creates distance between many microbes and intestinal cells. Antibodies help shape which organisms approach the surface. Immune cells sample information and adjust their response. The intestinal wall also repairs itself rapidly. Cells are continually replaced along the lining. Old cells are released, while new ones rise from deeper regions. This renewal helps maintain a strong and flexible barrier. The process continues while you sleep, eat, work, and dream. Now let your attention rise toward the chest. The heart rests within a thin protective sac called the pericardium. A small amount of fluid reduces friction as the heart moves. Coronary vessels travel across its surface and supply the heart muscle. The heart cannot rely on blood inside its chambers for nourishment. Its own muscle requires a dedicated circulation. Between beats, blood enters many coronary vessels more easily. Oxygen reaches the cells that power the next contraction. Each heart cell contains many mitochondria for constant energy production. The heart rarely pauses from its work, yet its pace changes with sleep, movement, emotion, and breathing. During a calm inhalation, heart rate may rise slightly. During exhalation, it may fall again. This gentle variation reflects communication between breathing and nervous control. A perfectly unchanging rhythm is not necessary or expected. Healthy systems often show small and flexible variations. The heart adapts rather than repeating each beat identically. Tonight, its pattern may become slower and more settled. You do not need to listen for this rhythm. It remains present whether you notice it or not. Now, imagine hormones moving through the bloodstream at night. Melatonin rises with darkness according to the body's internal timing. It helps signal that the biological night has begun. Cortisol usually follows its own daily rhythm. Levels often become lower earlier in the night. Toward morning, they gradually rise in preparation for waking. Growth hormone may appear in stronger pulses during deeper sleep. It supports tissue maintenance, metabolism, and growth-related processes. Other hormones help regulate hunger, water balance, and reproduction. Insulin sensitivity and glucose regulation also change across the day. The body does not use every hormone at a constant level. Instead, signals rise and fall like quiet tides. Timing allows different systems to prepare for expected needs. A hormone may influence several organs at once. Different tissues can respond differently to the same signal. The result is coordinated without requiring one simple command. Your body is guided by overlapping rhythms and feedback loops. If one level rises too far, another signal may reduce it. If something falls too low, production or release may increase. This feedback creates stability through continuous adjustment. Now the night deepens around these internal rhythms. The brain's central clock receives very little light through closed eyes. Signals of darkness continue shaping the sleeping body. Core temperature remains lower than during much of the day. The digestive system follows its quieter nighttime pace. The kidneys adjust urine production according to hormonal signals. Muscles use less energy than during waking movement. The immune system changes its pattern of communication. The brain cycles between lighter sleep, deeper sleep, and dreaming. Each cycle creates a different internal environment. No single stage performs every task. The benefits of sleep emerge from the full changing sequence. Sometimes the sequence is smooth. Sometimes it is interrupted by sound, movement, temperature, or thought. The body can often return to sleep after brief awakenings. Many awakenings are so short that memory never records them. Natural sleep contains movement, variation, and small interruptions. It does not need to be perfectly silent or completely motionless. Let this remove any pressure to sleep in a flawless way. Rest can still be useful when sleep feels lighter than expected. The body continues breathing, balancing, and repairing through many states. Now bring awareness gently toward the eyes. Behind the lids, the tear film protects the surface during sleep. The cornea receives oxygen partly from the surrounding air when eyes are open. With closed eyes, it receives more through nearby tissues and blood vessels. The eyelids form a warm and protected environment. Small glands along their edges release oils into the tear film. These oils help slow evaporation when you are awake. During sleep, the eyes remain still during some stages. During rapid eye movement sleep, they move beneath the lids. The reason for these movements is still being studied. They may relate to changing brain activity during dreaming. Visual regions can become active without light entering the eyes. The brain creates scenes from memory, imagination, and internal signals. A dream landscape requires no real sunlight. A dream face requires no person standing nearby. The sleeping brain can build entire worlds from its own activity. Yet these worlds usually fade after waking. You may enter one soon without noticing the transition. Let the darkness behind your eyes become spacious. There is no need to search for images. Whatever appears may drift freely and disappear. Now feel the boundary of the body resting within the bed. Pressure receptors report where the mattress supports you. Stretch receptors report the position of muscles and joints. Temperature receptors sense the air, blanket, and nearby skin. The brain combines this information into one quiet body map. This map is never perfectly fixed. It changes with posture, movement, injury, growth, and attention. During sleep, the map becomes less connected with conscious thought, yet it remains active enough to protect comfort and position. You may move before pressure becomes painful. You may turn when one arm grows numb. You may pull the blanket closer when the skin cools. These actions can occur without full wakefulness. The sleeping body is not helpless or unaware. It remains gently responsive to its own needs. Allow yourself to trust these protective systems. You do not need to remain alert for every small change. Your deeper nervous system can continue the watch. Now the journey widens until the whole body appears at once. The lungs move softly within the ribcage. The heart sends warm blood through branching vessels. The liver, kidneys, and intestines continue their patient work. The brain changes its rhythms beneath the sheltering skull. The skin renews its outer boundary. The bones support the body even while resting. Muscles soften but remain ready for morning. Cells repair, recycle, communicate, and produce energy. Microbes continue living within their hidden ecosystems. Hormones travel like quiet messages through the bloodstream. Nothing inside you is truly silent, yet together, these movements create the feeling of stillness. The body is active enough to keep life steady. The mind can rest because these systems require no instruction. Let your breathing become part of that steady activity. Let the heartbeat remain one rhythm among many. Let thoughts become faint and unimportant. You have traveled through vessels, cells, organs, nerves, and sleeping rhythms. Now you may stop following the path. The body will continue the journey without narration. You may simply rest within it, warm, supported, and quietly alive. The journey continues through the quiet darkness inside your chest and abdomen. Every organ rests within soft layers of tissue, fluid, muscle, and protective membranes. These layers allow neighboring structures to move without rubbing harshly against one another. The lungs expand gently, while the heart shifts slightly with every steady beat. The stomach changes shape as it fills, empties, and continues its slow nighttime work. The intestines curve through the abdomen, supported by delicate folds of connective tissue. Nothing inside the body is packed tightly like objects inside a box. There is space for movement, stretching, pressure changes, and gentle adjustment. Now imagine the soft membranes surrounding many internal organs. These surfaces release tiny amounts of fluid that reduce friction during movement. The lungs glide against the inner chest wall with every breath. The heart moves within its protective sac without scraping nearby tissues. The abdominal organs shift slightly as the diaphragm rises and falls. You never need to notice these movements for them to remain beautifully coordinated. They continue beneath awareness, quiet as shadows moving across a sleeping room. Let your next breath arrive without effort or expectation. Feel the body making room for air, then releasing that space again. Now follow the breath toward the deepest air sacs of the lungs. Some air sacs receive slightly more air than others because of posture and gravity. Blood flow also changes gently according to your sleeping position. The lungs constantly match airflow with circulation as efficiently as possible. Small blood vessels widen or narrow in response to local oxygen levels. This helps guide blood toward areas where gas exchange can happen more effectively. Your lungs are not perfectly still or perfectly uniform. They are flexible landscapes, adjusting from moment to moment. Even a simple change in position alters pressure across the chest. The body responds quietly, without needing to wake you. Now imagine oxygen entering a red blood cell once again. The cell carries hundreds of millions of hemoglobin molecules within its flexible shape. Each hemoglobin molecule can hold several oxygen molecules during the journey. The binding becomes stronger in the oxygen-rich environment of the lungs. Later, oxygen is released more easily where active cells have already used some. Temperature, acidity, and carbon dioxide also influence how oxygen is released. This allows working tissues to receive more when their needs increase. During sleep, many muscles require less oxygen than during daytime movement. Yet the brain, heart, liver, kidneys, and other organs remain steadily supplied. Circulation adjusts continuously, sharing oxygen according to changing local needs. Imagine this oxygen moving toward the deepest tissues of the sleeping body. It may reach a cell beside a tiny capillary in the lower leg. It may support a neuron continuing its quiet electrical activity. It may enter a liver cell processing stored nutrients from earlier meals. It may help an immune cell move slowly through a nearby tissue. The destination changes, but the journey always remains part of a larger cycle. Now drift toward the walls of the blood vessels themselves. The inner surface is lined by a thin layer of specialized cells. This lining is called the endothelium and extends throughout the circulation. It helps control vessel width, blood flow, inflammation, and clotting. These cells release signals that relax or tighten nearby smooth muscle. They respond to pressure, hormones, oxygen, and the movement of blood. The vessel wall is not simply a passive tube. It senses the bloodstream and changes its behavior accordingly. Large arteries contain elastic fibers that stretch with every heartbeat. Smaller arteries contain more smooth muscle for controlling local flow. Capillary walls are extremely thin, allowing exchange with nearby tissues. Veins have thinner walls and hold much of the body's circulating blood. Many veins contain valves that help blood return against gravity. During sleep, lying horizontally makes this return easier from the legs. The heart receives blood without working against the full height of the body. Pressure becomes more evenly distributed across the circulation. Now imagine the pulse wave traveling outward from the heart. It moves along artery walls faster than the blood itself moves. With each beat, the wave reaches distant vessels throughout the body. It can be felt at the wrist, neck, ankle, and other locations. Yet most pulse waves pass unnoticed beneath the skin. During sleep, the rhythm may slow as the body becomes deeply relaxed. Small changes still occur with breathing, dreams, and changing sleep stages. The heart remains flexible, responding without disturbing the overall calm. Let your attention rest near the center of your chest. You may feel nothing there, and that is perfectly comfortable. The heart does not require your awareness to continue its faithful rhythm. Now the journey turns toward the blood's clear liquid portion. Plasma carries water, salts, nutrients, hormones, proteins, and waste products. Red cells, white cells, and platelets travel within this warm fluid. Plasma proteins help keep water within the bloodstream. Some proteins transport hormones, fats, minerals, and other small molecules. Others support immune defense or help control clotting. The liver produces many of these important circulating proteins. Blood is not simply a red liquid carrying oxygen. It is a moving environment connecting every region of the body. A chemical released in one organ may reach another within moments. Heat produced by active tissues is redistributed through circulation. Water absorbed by the intestines becomes part of the shared internal river. Waste from cells is carried toward the kidneys, lungs, liver, and skin. The bloodstream allows distant tissues to behave like parts of one system. Let that inner river continue without needing to follow its direction. You may drift beside it, or you may allow the image to disappear. Now imagine a white blood cell leaving a small blood vessel. It slows near the vessel wall after receiving local chemical signals. The cell attaches gently and moves between lining cells into surrounding tissue. Here, it follows chemical trails toward an area needing attention. Different immune cells respond to different kinds of signals. Some recognize damaged tissue, while others detect patterns from microorganisms. Certain cells release messages that increase local blood flow. Others help remove damaged material through careful engulfing and digestion. Some carry information toward lymph nodes for a more specific response. The immune system is always balancing action with restraint. Too little response may allow harm to spread. Too much response may disturb healthy surrounding tissue. Regulating this balance requires constant communication between many cell types. The immune system also remembers many previous encounters. Specialized cells can remain after an infection has passed. If the same pattern appears again, they may respond more rapidly. This memory can last for months, years, or sometimes much longer. Vaccines use this natural capacity to prepare immune memory safely. Tonight, memory cells remain quietly distributed through blood and tissues. Most are inactive, waiting without urgency or alarm. Now follow lymph fluid through a delicate vessel beneath the skin. Unlike blood circulation, lymph has no single central pump. Movement comes from muscles, breathing, nearby arteries, and vessel contractions. Small valves help guide the fluid in one direction. Lymph carries excess tissue fluid back toward the bloodstream. It also transports immune cells and absorbed fats from the intestine. Along the pathway, fluid passes through lymph nodes. Inside each node, immune cells examine material arriving from nearby tissues. Most of the time, nothing urgent is found. The fluid continues onward, eventually joining large veins near the chest. Even while you sleep, breathing gently assists this quiet return. The movement of the diaphragm changes pressure inside the chest and abdomen. These pressure changes help guide both blood and lymph. One peaceful breath influences far more than the lungs alone. Now, the journey moves toward the soft tissues beneath the skin. Fat cells store energy in a concentrated and efficient form. They also cushion organs and reduce heat loss from the body. Fat tissue releases hormones and communicates with other metabolic systems. It is not simply inactive storage beneath the skin. Different areas of fat tissue can behave differently throughout the body. Some specialized fat cells can produce heat when the body becomes cold. This heat production is especially important in infants. Adults also retain smaller amounts of heat-producing brown fat. Most temperature control, however, depends on blood flow, movement, sweating, and behavior. When the body cools, small muscles may begin rapid contractions called shivering. These contractions produce additional heat through increased energy use. When the body becomes warm, sweat can evaporate from the skin. Evaporation carries heat away into the surrounding air. During comfortable sleep, strong responses are usually unnecessary. The room, bedding, circulation, and metabolism maintain a gentle balance. Now notice the warmth gathered beneath the blanket. It may feel slightly different around your feet, hands, chest, and face. The body does not remain exactly the same temperature everywhere. The core is kept warmer than much of the surrounding skin. Hands and feet can release heat by changing local blood flow. Skin temperature also changes with posture and contact with the mattress. One side may become warmer, while the exposed side remains cooler. These differences are normal parts of nighttime regulation. You may adjust the blanket before becoming fully aware of discomfort. The sleeping brain continues receiving temperature signals from across the body. It compares them with an internal range maintained by the hypothalamus. Responses begin quietly, long before temperature becomes dangerous. You can let this protective system continue its careful watch. Now drift toward the soft layer of muscle beneath the skin. Some muscles maintain low activity even during deep relaxation. They help support breathing, swallowing, and the position of the airways. The diaphragm continues its steady rhythm throughout the night. Small muscles around the throat adjust with each sleeping breath. The muscles controlling the eyelids keep them gently closed. Other muscles become especially relaxed during rapid eye movement sleep. This relaxation is produced through active signals from the brain. Sleep is not merely the absence of movement. The brain carefully changes which muscles remain active and which become quiet. Small twitches may still occur in the fingers, face, or feet. These movements are usually brief and harmless. They may accompany dreams or transitions between sleep stages. The body is allowed to move a little within its stillness. Let your own stillness be flexible rather than perfectly fixed. You may shift whenever the body chooses a more comfortable position. Now imagine the brainstem at the base of the skull. This ancient region connects the brain with the spinal cord. It helps regulate breathing, heartbeat, blood pressure, swallowing, and alertness. Many of its tasks continue before conscious thought can appear. Networks within the brainstem also help move the brain between waking and sleeping. Some chemical signals support alertness during daytime. Others reduce that alertness as sleep begins. During the night, different networks take turns shaping each sleep stage. The transition is gradual and often includes brief returns toward wakefulness. You may approach the surface, adjust your position, then drift downward again. Most of these small transitions leave no lasting memory. Sleep is more like a tide than a straight downward path. It rises, falls, deepens, and becomes lighter throughout the night. There is no need to hold yourself within one particular stage. The brain knows how to move through the sequence naturally. Now travel toward the hypothalamus, a small region with many important roles. It helps regulate hunger, thirst, temperature, hormones, stress, and daily rhythms. Within it, a tiny group of cells tracks the pattern of light and darkness. This central clock sends timing signals throughout the brain and body. It helps coordinate when melatonin rises and body temperature falls. It influences alertness, digestion, hormone release, and immune activity. Yet every organ also contains smaller local clocks within its cells, genes. Switch activity according to rhythms lasting close to 24 hours. The liver anticipates usual periods of eating and fasting. The digestive tract changes movement and enzyme activity across the day. Muscle cells alter energy use according to expected activity. The skin also follows rhythms in repair, blood flow, and cell division. These local clocks communicate with the central clock and daily behavior. Light, meals, exercise, and sleep timing help keep them aligned. Tonight, darkness provides a quiet signal across the whole body. It says that the active day has softened into biological night. Now imagine these rhythms as slow waves moving through every tissue. Some processes rise while others become quieter. Some hormones are released in pulses rather than steady streams. A pulse may last only minutes before the level falls again. Several pulses can appear at particular stages of sleep. This pattern allows tissues to respond without constant stimulation. The body often communicates through timing as much as quantity. A signal arriving at night may have a different effect than during daytime. Cells change their sensitivity according to their own internal clocks. The body is not performing the same work every hour. It moves through a repeating schedule written into chemistry and genes. You do not need to know where you are within that schedule. The body continues measuring the night on your behalf. Now the journey turns toward the pancreas, resting behind the stomach. Clusters of cells within it monitor glucose levels in the blood. When glucose rises, certain cells release insulin. This signal helps many tissues take in glucose or store it. Other cells release glucagon. When blood glucose begins falling, glucagon helps the liver release stored energy into circulation. These hormones work together through continuous feedback. During sleep, you are usually passing through several hours without eating. The liver slowly releases enough glucose to support important tissues. Fat stores also provide energy during this natural fasting period. The body shifts fuel sources gradually rather than suddenly. Different organs prefer different mixtures of glucose and fat. The brain normally relies heavily on glucose during ordinary conditions. The heart can use fats, glucose, and other available fuels. Muscles at rest use less energy than during movement. Metabolism adapts quietly to what is available. There is no feeling of each individual change. You experience only the simple sensation of resting through the night. Now follow a molecule of glucose entering a sleeping cell. A transport protein carries it across the cell membrane. Inside, enzymes guide it through a sequence of controlled reactions. Some energy is released early, while more becomes available within mitochondria. Oxygen helps complete the efficient extraction of usable energy. The cell captures this energy in molecules of ATP. Heat is also produced and contributes slightly to body temperature. Carbon dioxide forms and eventually travels back toward the lungs. Water is produced during the final stages of energy metabolism. A single breath, heartbeat, and molecule of food become connected within this process. Everything inside the body participates in cycles of exchange. Energy changes form, but it does not appear from nowhere. Matter moves between organs, cells, and the outside environment. Breathing and eating connect your internal world with the larger world. Even during sleep, that connection never completely closes. Now imagine the gentle movement of the chest beneath the blanket. Air from the room enters the lungs, becomes part of circulation, then reaches living cells. Carbon dioxide leaves those cells, returns through blood, and enters the room again. Water moves from drinks into blood, cells, breath, skin, and urine. Minerals pass through food, tissues, bones, and kidneys. The body is not separated from nature. It is a temporary and beautifully organized flow of natural materials. Atoms within you have traveled through oceans, soil, air, plants, and other living things. They remain for a time, then continue their larger journey. Yet tonight, they are arranged into this quiet and resting body. Let that thought feel spacious and peaceful. You are held within processes far older than memory. Now, return gently to the brain and its changing electrical rhythms. During deep sleep, many neurons alternate between active and quieter states. These changes can synchronize across wide regions of the cortex. The result appears as large, slow waves in brain recordings. These waves may help coordinate memory processing and cellular restoration. They also reduce the brain's response to many outside signals. A familiar sound can occur without becoming part of conscious awareness. The thalamus helps limit the flow of sensory information toward the cortex, yet some signals still pass through if they are important enough. A baby crying, an alarm, or an unfamiliar movement may reach awareness. The brain remains selective rather than completely disconnected. This selectivity allows protection without constant interruption. You may trust the sleeping brain to decide what deserves attention. Everything else can become part of the quiet background. Now imagine a sleep spindle appearing for less than a second. A group of neurons produces a brief pattern of rapid activity. The pattern travels through networks connecting the thalamus and cortex. It may help stabilize sleep when a small sound occurs. It may also support the strengthening of certain memories. Thousands of these brief patterns can appear during a night. You never feel them or know exactly when they occur. They are small signatures of the sleeping brain's hidden work. Other brain rhythms appear during dreaming sleep. Emotional, visual, and memory networks become more active. Logical monitoring becomes quieter, allowing unusual dream events to feel ordinary. A room may become a forest without any clear transition. A familiar person may speak with another person's voice. Time may stretch, repeat, or disappear completely. The brain accepts these changing scenes as they unfold. You may soon enter such a world without recognizing the doorway. Now let the words become slower in your attention. They may remain clear, or they may begin losing their edges. You do not need to understand every sentence. You do not need to remember where this journey has traveled. The body continues its work, whether your mind follows or drifts away. The heart does not ask the brain for conscious permission before each beat. The lungs do not require a decision before each sleeping breath. The liver does not wait for instructions before balancing nutrients. The kidneys do not need attention while adjusting water and minerals. Cells repair, communicate, divide, and recycle within the darkness. Your participation is no longer necessary. Now notice the natural pause between one breath and the next. It is brief, quiet, and completely unforced. The breathing center waits until the body's chemistry calls for another breath. Then, the diaphragm contracts and air moves gently inward. The process repeats without hurry. Your heartbeat also contains tiny pauses between contractions. Muscles contract, relax, fill, and prepare again. Rest exists even within the systems that never completely stop. The heart rests between beats. The lungs rest between breaths. Individual neurons rest between signals. Muscle fibers rest between movements. The body understands how to alternate effort with release. You may follow the same pattern now. Let any remaining effort soften into the spaces between thoughts. Now, imagine morning still far beyond the horizon. The body is not preparing to rise just yet. It remains within the quiet work of nighttime maintenance. Stored memories are becoming more organized. Hormones continue following their slow and repeating patterns. Tissues receive oxygen, nutrients, and chemical messages. Temperature remains lower within the peaceful rhythm of sleep. The digestive system moves gradually through its nighttime cycle. Immune cells travel through blood, tissues, lymph, and resting organs. Nothing is rushing toward completion. The body has the entire night to continue its patient adjustments. Allow yourself the same patience. There is no deadline for the next breath or the arrival of sleep. Now the inner journey becomes wider and softer. The details of organs and cells merge into one warm living presence. You may no longer see the vessels, nerves, or delicate membranes. You may only feel the quiet weight of the body beneath you. This body is not asking you to study it. It is simply carrying you through another peaceful night. It has moved through years of changing seasons and countless ordinary days. It has adapted to movement, stillness, hunger, warmth, learning, and rest. Tonight, it asks for nothing more than a little quiet time. Let the mattress hold the bones. Let the blanket rest gently across the skin. Let the lungs continue opening and closing within the chest. Let the heart continue sending its steady waves through the darkness. And let your awareness grow softer, slower, And farther away, the journey now drifts toward the quiet senses that connect your body with the sleeping room. Even in darkness, gentle signals continue arriving through sound, temperature, pressure, scent, and movement. Your brain receives them softly, deciding which may fade and which deserve attention. Begin with the faint sound surrounding you now. Air vibrations enter the outer ear and travel along the ear canal. They reach the eardrum, a thin membrane moving with each passing wave. Behind it, 3 tiny bones transfer the vibration toward the inner ear. These bones are called the malleus, incus, and stapes. The stapes is the smallest bone in the human body. Its movements press gently against the fluid-filled opening within the inner ear. Waves then travel through the spiral chamber of the cochlea. Inside this chamber, delicate hair cells respond to different sound frequencies. Some respond best to low tones, while others respond to higher tones. Their movement creates electrical signals that travel along the auditory nerve. The brain combines these signals into the experience of sound. A distant fan becomes a steady hum. Rain becomes a soft pattern against glass. A familiar voice becomes meaning, emotion, memory, and recognition. During sleep, the ears remain open to the surrounding world. Yet the brain becomes less responsive to many predictable sounds. Steady noises may be gently filtered from conscious awareness. This allows the environment to remain present without continually interrupting rest. Let any quiet sound around you become part of the background. It does not need to disappear for you to sleep. The sleeping brain can carry it softly into the night. Now drift toward the sense of smell. Air entering the nose passes over a small region containing specialized receptor cells. These cells respond to different molecular shapes carried within the air. A scent may contain many molecules activating several receptors together. The brain recognizes the pattern as rain, wood, tea, soap, or morning air. Smell is closely connected with brain regions involved in emotion and memory. A familiar scent can bring back an old place with surprising clarity. It may return the feeling of a room, season, person, or forgotten afternoon. During sleep, sensitivity to smell usually becomes less likely to cause waking. The brain responds more reliably to sound than to many ordinary scents. Still, the nose continues warming, filtering, and moistening each incoming breath. Air passes across curved structures that increase contact with the nasal surface. Blood vessels help warm cooler air before it reaches the lungs. Moisture protects the delicate airways from becoming too dry. Mucus traps many particles before they can travel deeper. Tiny cilia move trapped material slowly toward the throat. This quiet cleaning system continues throughout the night. Now imagine the soft passage of air through your nose. One side may feel more open than the other. This can change naturally through a pattern called the nasal cycle. Tissues inside each side gently swell and shrink over several hours. The more open side may alternate without you ever noticing. This cycle is controlled partly by the autonomic nervous system. Even the simple path of breathing follows changing internal rhythms. You do not need both sides to feel perfectly equal. The body adjusts airflow continuously without conscious help. Let each breath choose its own quiet path. Now travel toward the tongue, resting peacefully within the mouth. The tongue is made from several muscles working together. It helps with speech, chewing, swallowing, and moving food. Its surface contains small structures that support taste and touch. Taste receptor cells respond mainly to sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and savory compounds. Flavor, however, is created by much more than taste alone. Smell, temperature, texture, memory, and expectation all shape the experience. When the nose is blocked, food may seem strangely quiet or incomplete. This happens because many flavor signals normally come through smell. During sleep, the tongue and jaw muscles relax. Saliva production usually decreases as the night deepens. Saliva normally protects the mouth, moistens tissues, and begins digestion. It also helps wash away particles and balance acidity. Even during sleep, small amounts continue supporting the mouth's environment. Communities of microorganisms live across the tongue, teeth, gums, and cheeks. Many exist without causing harm when the environment remains balanced. The mouth, like the skin and intestines, contains its own living ecosystem. Now follow a swallow beginning deep within the throat. Most swallowing happens consciously while you are awake, yet occasional automatic swallows continue during rest. A carefully coordinated sequence moves saliva toward the esophagus. The airway is protected while the material passes safely downward. Muscles contract in an organized wave lasting only a few seconds. The esophagus then carries the swallowed fluid toward the stomach. This movement can continue even when the body is lying flat. Peristaltic waves do not depend upon gravity alone. They arise from coordinated muscle activity along the digestive tract. The body can move material downward while you rest in any position. Your throat feels soft and untroubled now. You do not need to swallow or change anything deliberately. The next movement will happen whenever the body finds it necessary. Now the journey enters the soft lining of the stomach. This lining contains cells with several different responsibilities. Some produce acid, while others release digestive enzymes and protective mucus. Acid helps unfold proteins and limits many swallowed microorganisms. The protective barrier prevents the stomach from digesting its own surface. Cells within the lining are replaced frequently because the environment is demanding. A healthy balance allows digestion to continue without harming deeper tissue. The stomach also stretches to hold different meal sizes. Nerve signals report fullness, pressure, and chemical changes. Hormones help coordinate when digestion should continue or slow. Food leaves the stomach gradually through a muscular opening. The timing depends partly upon its volume and composition. Liquids often move faster than meals containing more fat or protein. The small intestine receives only manageable amounts at one time. This helps digestion remain steady rather than rushed. During sleep, stomach movement continues according to when and what you last ate. There is no need to imagine it clearly. Simply know that the process follows its own patient timing. Now drift toward the liver again, warm beneath the right ribs. During nighttime fasting, the liver helps maintain energy between meals. It releases stored glucose when the bloodstream requires support. It also creates new glucose from certain smaller molecules when necessary. Fatty acids provide another source of energy for many resting tissues. The liver packages and transports fats using specialized particles. It also continues processing hormones, medicines, and natural metabolic products. Bile is produced steadily even when the gallbladder is not releasing it. Many substances are changed into forms that dissolve more easily in water. This allows the kidneys or intestines to remove them later. The liver receives information from hormones, nerves, nutrients, and the biological clock. Its activity changes across daytime and nighttime hours. It is not simply waiting quietly between meals, it is actively guiding the body's transition to the sleeping fast. Now imagine the pancreas resting behind the stomach. Most of its tissue produces digestive enzymes for the small intestine. Smaller clusters of cells release hormones directly into the bloodstream. These cells continually sense changing glucose concentrations. They do not measure sugar only after meals. They monitor it every moment, including throughout the night. Insulin, glucagon, and other signals help maintain a stable supply. The brain needs continuous energy, even during deep sleep. The heart also requires fuel for every contraction. The body therefore balances storage and release with remarkable precision. When no food is arriving, stored energy becomes gently available. This happens gradually, without a sudden emptying of reserves. The body prefers steady adjustment over dramatic change. Now let your attention move toward the thyroid gland. It rests at the front of the neck, shaped roughly like a small butterfly. Thyroid hormones influence how cells use energy throughout the body. Their effects unfold slowly over hours and days. They help regulate temperature, heart activity, growth, and many metabolic processes. The thyroid responds to signals from the pituitary gland. The pituitary receives guidance from the hypothalamus within the brain. When hormone levels rise sufficiently, they reduce the signals that produce them. This feedback prevents unlimited release. Similar feedback loops appear throughout the endocrine system. They create stability through constant measurement and correction. Nothing remains fixed, yet the overall balance stays within useful boundaries. This is how the body preserves order while always changing. Now drift toward the adrenal glands above the kidneys. Their outer and inner regions produce different hormones. Some hormones help regulate salt, blood pressure, and long-term energy balance. Others prepare the body for sudden effort or alertness. During calm sleep, emergency signals are usually quiet, yet the glands remain ready to respond if protection becomes necessary. Cortisol follows a daily rhythm shaped by the internal clock. It usually becomes lower during earlier portions of the night. Toward morning, it rises gradually before waking. This increase helps prepare metabolism, circulation, and attention for the coming day. The body begins preparing before the conscious mind knows morning is near. Every dawn is anticipated through internal timing. For now, however, the night remains soft and unhurried. The darker hours still belong to restoration. Let your thoughts remain within that darkness. Morning can arrive without your help. Now the journey moves toward the pituitary gland beneath the brain. It is small, yet it releases signals influencing many distant organs. Some hormones affect the thyroid and adrenal glands. Others influence growth, reproduction, water balance, and milk production. The pituitary does not work independently. It communicates closely with the hypothalamus above it. Together, they connect the nervous system with the endocrine system. Thoughts, light, stress, temperature, and sleep can influence hormonal patterns. Hormones then carry information from the brain toward tissues throughout the body. This creates a slow conversation between experience and physiology. A frightening sound can quickly alter the heart and adrenal glands. A peaceful environment can support quieter signals and slower rhythms. Yet no single thought controls the entire body. Many systems balance one another, protecting stability through changing moments. You do not need to create perfect calm. Even partial relaxation gives the body useful information. Now take a gentle breath through the nose. Let the exhalation leave slightly slower than the inhalation. Do not force it beyond comfort. Then allow breathing to become natural again. The nervous system notices each breath without requiring conscious supervision. Stretch receptors report how much the lungs have expanded. Chemical receptors monitor carbon dioxide, oxygen, and acidity. The brainstem adjusts timing and depth according to these signals. Breathing during sleep may become slower and more regular. During dreams, it may briefly become less predictable. The body responds flexibly rather than following a mechanical rhythm. Small variations are part of healthy biological life. No two breaths are exactly identical. No two heartbeats are perfectly the same. The body remains stable because it can change. Now, imagine the soft movement of the diaphragm. As it descends, pressure increases gently within the abdomen. This movement massages and shifts the organs below. When it rises, pressure changes again. These alternating pressures support the movement of blood and lymph. They also influence the walls of the digestive organs. Breathing connects the chest and abdomen through continuous motion. It affects posture, circulation, and the nervous system. One muscle beneath the lungs participates in the work of the entire body, yet you experience only the quiet arrival and departure of air. Allow that simplicity to remain. You do not need to understand the breath for it to care for you. Now travel along the vagus nerve from the brainstem downward. This long nerve sends branches toward the throat, heart, lungs, and digestive system. Much of the information it carries travels from organs toward the brain. It reports pressure, stretching, chemistry, and internal movement. Other fibers carry instructions from the brain toward those organs. The vagus nerve helps influence heart rate and digestive activity. It participates in swallowing, voice, coughing, and many reflexes. Its pathways are part of the parasympathetic nervous system. This system supports rest, digestion, and calmer internal conditions. It does not switch the entire body into a single peaceful state. Instead, it adjusts particular organs according to changing needs. A slow exhalation can briefly increase calming influence upon the heart. Gentle breathing may therefore accompany a quieter pulse. The change may be small and completely unnoticed. Still, the conversation continues. Now imagine sensory information rising from the heart. Pressure receptors within large arteries report each pulse wave. The brain uses these signals to help regulate blood pressure. When pressure rises, calming responses may reduce heart activity. When pressure falls, other responses help restore circulation. This adjustment can happen within seconds. Standing up, lying down, breathing, and dreaming all change pressure slightly. The body responds before you become aware of any difference. Tonight, lying horizontally reduces the effect of gravity across your height. Blood returns from the legs with less difficulty. The heart continues pumping within a more evenly balanced circulation. Fluid may shift gradually from the lower body toward the chest. The kidneys notice these changes and adjust water handling later. Resting posture influences many systems at once, yet the experience remains simple. You are only lying still within a comfortable bed. Now, drift toward the feet, warm beneath the blanket. During the day, gravity encourages some fluid toward the lower legs. Muscle contractions help veins and lymphatic vessels return it upward. Walking squeezes deeper vessels between contracting muscles. Valves prevent much of the fluid from falling backward. At night, horizontal rest reduces this gravitational pressure. Fluid can redistribute more evenly through tissues and circulation. The ankles and feet no longer carry the full weight of the body. Their joints, ligaments, and muscles can release their daytime work. Sensory receptors still report warmth, pressure, and position. The brain still knows where the feet are resting, but it does not need to plan another step. Let them become heavy and distant now. There is nowhere else to walk tonight. Now imagine the hands resting without holding anything. Earlier, they may have typed, carried, opened, touched, or reached. The brain devoted attention to countless small finger movements. Motor regions, coordinated muscles through nerves extending into the forearms. Sensory regions, interpreted texture, temperature, and pressure. Now those networks can become quieter. The fingers may curl slightly as flexor muscles find a comfortable balance. Blood continues flowing through tiny arteries toward each fingertip. Veins return it through branching pathways beneath the skin. Nails continue growing slowly from cells hidden near their bases. Skin cells continue renewing along the palms and fingertips. Touch receptors continue sensing the steady surface beneath them. Yet the hands no longer need to accomplish anything. Let them rest as if they belong entirely to the night. Now the journey rises toward the face. The facial nerve controls many muscles of expression. Other nerves carry touch, temperature, and pain signals from the skin. The jaw muscles are among the strongest muscles relative to their size. They work throughout the day during speech and chewing. Now they can release their grip. The teeth do not need to press together. The tongue can rest softly behind them. The lips can remain gently closed or slightly parted. Muscles around the eyes can become still. Let the forehead widen and smooth. Imagine every expression from the day dissolving from the face. Nothing needs to be communicated while you sleep. Now drift toward the eyes once more. The retina continues receiving very little light through closed lids. Its cells adapt to the surrounding darkness. The pupils remain controlled by automatic muscles within the iris. The lenses rest without focusing on nearby screens or distant objects. Small muscles that move the eyes become quiet during some sleep stages. Later, they may become active during dreaming sleep. The optic nerves continue carrying only faint signals from the darkness. Visual regions within the brain may begin creating their own images. These images might form a room, a landscape, or an unfamiliar face. They may change without explanation. A dream can begin before you recognize that waking thought has ended. There is no clear doorway that must be crossed. The transition may happen between two sentences. It may happen during one slow outward breath. Now imagine the brain loosening its attention to language. Words are normally understood through several cooperating networks. Sounds or letters are connected with meaning, memory, and context. As sleep approaches, these connections may become less orderly. A sentence may feel clear and suddenly drift away. The beginning may disappear before the ending arrives. This is not a failure of attention. It is a sign that waking organization is becoming less important. The brain is changing its pattern of communication. External language may begin blending with internal images. Thoughts may become fragments without needing completion. Dose. Let any unfinished thought remain unfinished. You do not need to return and repair it. Sleep is allowed to interrupt the story. Now the journey returns toward memory. Events from the day may be briefly reactivated during sleep. The brain may strengthen useful patterns and weaken others. Emotional memories can be reorganized within changing networks. Facts and skills may follow different processing pathways. Some memories become easier to retrieve after rest. Others remain faint or disappear. The brain is not saving everything equally. It selects according to attention, meaning, repetition, and emotion. Even this selection is imperfect and flexible. Memory is not a perfect archive. It is a living system that supports future understanding. Tonight's and details may be quietly integrated into older knowledge. You do not need to choose which ones. The sleeping brain performs this sorting without conscious effort. Let the day become lighter as it moves farther into memory. Now imagine the spaces between neurons growing quieter. Chemical messengers are released, removed, recycled, and produced again. Receptors change their sensitivity over time. Connections strengthen with repeated use and weaken. when rarely activated. Supporting glial cells maintain the chemical environment around neurons. They regulate ions, recycle transmitters, and provide metabolic support. Some glial cells form myelin around long nerve fibers. This insulation helps signals travel quickly and efficiently. Others participate in immune protection within brain tissue. The brain's activity depends upon this hidden support network. Thought is never produced by neurons alone. Every idea rests upon the care of many surrounding cells. During sleep, these relationships continue in altered patterns. The brain is not inactive. It is simply occupied with different work. Now allow the scientific details to soften again. You may stop picturing cells, glands, nerves, or flowing molecules. Imagine only one peaceful inner landscape. Warm blood moves through quiet vessels. Breath rises and falls beneath the ribs. Hormones follow slow rhythms through the darkness. Organs continue patient work without hurry. Muscles rest while tissues repair small areas of everyday wear. The brain moves between memory, silence, and dreams. The senses remain open enough to protect you. Everything else can fade. Your body is awake in all the ways necessary for sleep, and you may become absent from the effort of being awake. Let the next breath happen without watching it. Let the next heartbeat pass without listening. Let the next thought appear without following. Each one can continue and disappear on its own. There is no need to reach the end of this journey. The body contains more paths than any single night could explore. For now, they can remain hidden within comfortable darkness. You are resting inside a living world that already knows what to do. Allow yourself to drift farther from the words. The quiet systems will continue, even after you stop hearing them. The journey now settles into the deep quiet of nighttime repair. Across the body, cells continue their work beneath the softness of sleep. Some cells replace worn proteins that no longer function as efficiently. Others remove damaged parts and recycle useful materials for future use. This maintenance happens continuously, though sleep supports a calmer internal environment. Energy can be directed away from movement, conversation, and constant decision-making. The body never becomes entirely still at the microscopic level. Molecules continue moving, enzymes continue working, and membranes remain carefully balanced. Imagine entering a single cell within a resting muscle. Its outer membrane separates the cell from the surrounding fluid. This membrane is flexible, thin, and filled with specialized proteins. Some proteins allow nutrients to enter through carefully controlled pathways. Others carry waste products outward toward the surrounding circulation. Electrical differences across the membrane help muscles and nerves respond quickly. Even during rest, the cell maintains this delicate separation. Inside, mitochondria continue producing energy from oxygen and stored fuel. They are not perfectly identical or permanently fixed structures. They can join, divide, move, and change according to cellular needs. Damaged mitochondria may be broken down through internal recycling systems. Healthy components can then support future energy production. This quiet renewal helps cells remain useful across changing conditions. Now imagine the cell examining the proteins within its interior. Proteins perform most of the detailed work required for life. Some provide structure, while others transport, signal, repair, or release energy. Proteins can become damaged through heat, chemical reactions, or ordinary use. Special helper proteins may guide them back into useful shapes. Others mark damaged proteins for careful breakdown and recycling. Small pieces can later become building materials for new proteins. The body often repairs itself by reusing what is still valuable. Nothing within the cell needs to hurry. Maintenance occurs through countless small steps, rather than one dramatic event. Now drift toward the nucleus, where genetic material is carefully protected. DNA contains instructions used by cells throughout the body. Most cells carry nearly the same complete set of genetic instructions, yet different cells use different sections according to their roles. A skin cell activates patterns unlike those within a neuron. A liver cell reads instructions suited to metabolism and chemical processing. Genes can become more or less active through signals and daily rhythms. Sleep, light, hormones, food, and activity can influence these patterns. The genetic code remains stable while its use changes continuously. This allows the body to respond without rewriting its deepest instructions. Before a cell divides, its DNA must be copied with remarkable precision. Special enzymes move along each strand and build a matching partner. Errors can occasionally occur during this enormous copying process. Repair systems identify and correct many mistakes before division continues. Other repair systems work on DNA damage during ordinary metabolism. No repair system is perfect, yet together they provide impressive protection. This maintenance continues across waking, resting, and sleeping hours. You do not feel these corrections being made. They happen within cells too small to imagine clearly. Let the image become gentle and distant. Your body can continue its molecular work without your attention. Now the journey moves toward the skin beneath the blanket. Nighttime brings subtle changes in blood flow, temperature, and cellular activity. The skin barrier continues, limiting water loss into the surrounding air. Oils and lipids fill spaces between outer cells, like soft protective mortar. These materials help keep irritants outside and moisture within. Deeper skin cells continue dividing and moving toward the surface. The complete journey may take several weeks rather than one night. Each night contributes only a small part to this renewal. Collagen within deeper layers supports strength and flexible structure. Elastin fibers allow the skin to stretch and return. Fibroblast cells maintain many materials surrounding nearby tissues. Blood vessels deliver oxygen and nutrients beneath the surface. Nerves continue sensing warmth, pressure, and the position of your body. The skin remains active even when it feels quiet and untouched. Now imagine the blanket resting gently across your arm. At first, touch receptors noticed every change in pressure. After the sensation remained stable, their response became quieter. This process is called sensory adaptation. It allows the brain to focus more strongly upon new information. A constant fabric texture gradually fades from conscious awareness. The same happens with familiar sounds and gentle background scents. The body still receives the signal, but attention no longer follows it. This filtering creates a softer world around the sleeping mind. You are supported by the bed without needing to feel every contact. Now drift inward toward the connective tissues beneath the skin. These tissues create continuous networks throughout the entire body. They surround muscles, vessels, nerves, and many internal organs. Collagen fibers provide strength in directions shaped by repeated movement. Other molecules attract water and help tissues resist compression. Connective tissue is neither empty space nor simple wrapping. It supports communication, movement, healing, and structural balance. Small immune cells travel through these spaces when help is needed. Capillaries exchange water, nutrients, oxygen, and waste with nearby cells. Lymphatic vessels gather some of the fluid remaining between tissues. Everything here moves slowly, compared with blood inside larger vessels. Yet this gentle movement is essential for cellular life. Now imagine fluid passing through a tiny lymphatic opening. Overlapping cells act like small doors within the vessel wall. Pressure from surrounding tissues encourages fluid to enter. Once inside, valves help guide it toward larger lymphatic pathways. Breathing and muscle movement support this gradual return. Even small sleeping adjustments help move lymph through the body. The fluid may pass through a nearby lymph node. Inside, immune cells examine molecules and fragments carried from tissues. Most signals require no major response. The fluid continues quietly toward the bloodstream near the chest. The body constantly checks its internal environment without creating alarm. Now the journey enters a lymph node hidden beneath the jaw. Different immune cells occupy carefully organized regions inside. Some cells recognize familiar molecular patterns from earlier encounters. Others present small fragments to help coordinate a precise response. Communication occurs through direct contact and chemical messengers. Many cells remain quiet until a meaningful signal appears. Immune readiness does not require constant inflammation or struggle. Much of protection depends upon patience, recognition, and controlled restraint. The immune system must distinguish danger from ordinary harmless material. It must also avoid attacking the body's own healthy cells. Special regulatory cells help reduce unnecessary immune activity. This balance is complex, adaptive, and usually invisible. During sleep, immune signaling follows rhythms shaped by the internal clock. Certain chemical messengers rise during parts of the night. These patterns may support memory formation within the immune system. Sleep also influences how strongly the body responds to future challenges. No single night determines the entire strength of immunity. The effect develops through repeated patterns of rest and waking. Tonight simply adds another quiet period to that continuing process. Now drift toward the bone marrow, deep within the pelvis. Here, blood-forming stem cells remain within a specialized environment. Nearby cells provide signals controlling growth, rest, and development. Some stem cells remain quiet for long periods. Others begin producing new blood cells according to current needs. Young cells pass through several stages before entering circulation. Red blood cells become flexible carriers filled with hemoglobin. Many white blood cells develop specialized immune functions. Platelet-producing cells release small fragments used in vessel repair. This hidden factory works without noise, light, or conscious direction. The marrow responds to hormones, oxygen levels, infection, and blood loss. When oxygen remains low, the kidneys release a stronger chemical signal. That signal encourages production of additional red blood cells. Feedback between distant organs helps maintain a stable circulation. The kidneys sense oxygen, while the marrow adjusts cell production. The lungs provide oxygen, and the heart distributes it everywhere. No system performs its work in isolation. The body is held together by continuous communication. Now, imagine a newly formed red blood cell entering the bloodstream. It has no nucleus and little space for unnecessary structures. Most of its interior is devoted to oxygen-carrying hemoglobin. It bends easily while passing through narrow marrow vessels. Soon, it joins millions of other cells within the circulation. The current carries it toward the heart and then the lungs. There, oxygen binds before the cell begins its first outward journey. It may visit the brain, muscles, kidneys, or skin. It will repeat this cycle for many weeks. Eventually, aging changes will make the cell less flexible. The spleen and liver can then help remove it safely. Useful iron returns to storage or becomes part of new hemoglobin. The body transforms an ending into material for another beginning. Now the journey turns toward the spleen beneath the left ribs. This soft organ filters blood rather than lymph. It contains regions filled with immune cells and circulating red cells. Older blood cells move through narrow passages within its tissue. Flexible cells pass onward, while damaged ones may be removed. The spleen also stores some platelets and supports immune recognition. It can respond when unusual material appears within the bloodstream. Most of its work remains quiet and completely unnoticed. Nearby, the stomach continues its slower nighttime rhythm. The diaphragm moves above them both with every peaceful breath. Each organ shifts slightly as pressure changes within the abdomen. They share space without remaining perfectly motionless. The internal body is a landscape of gentle movement. Now, follow the diaphragm downward again. Its rhythm changes subtly, with sleep stage and body position. Breathing may be deeper during some moments and lighter during others. Carbon dioxide levels provide an important signal for each new breath. As carbon dioxide rises, acidity changes within the blood and brain fluid. Special receptors notice these chemical changes. The brainstem then adjusts breathing depth and timing. Oxygen is also monitored. Though carbon dioxide usually guides ordinary breathing strongly, this system works continuously without requiring conscious attention. Even when dreams become vivid, breathing usually remains safely regulated. Small irregularities can occur during rapid eye movement sleep. The brain responds and continues adapting from moment to moment. Let your next breath arrive through this ancient automatic process. You do not need to improve it. You do not need to lengthen or count it. Simply allow the body to breathe exactly as it needs. Now imagine air filling the lower regions of the lungs. Gravity affects airflow and blood flow differently across lung tissue. Changing position alters which regions expand most easily. The body continually adjusts circulation to match local ventilation. Blood vessels respond to oxygen levels within nearby air spaces. This improves the overall efficiency of gas exchange. The lungs are never using every air sac in exactly the same way. They remain flexible, uneven, and beautifully adaptable. A small sigh may occasionally open areas that were breathing more shallowly. Sighs occur naturally during waking and sleeping. They help reset the mechanical pattern of breathing. You do not need to create one deliberately. The respiratory system includes these variations within its normal rhythm. Now drift toward the heart as breathing changes pressure around it. During inhalation, pressure inside the chest becomes slightly more negative. This helps draw blood from large veins toward the heart. During exhalation, the pressure shifts again. Breathing therefore supports venous return as well as gas exchange. The heart responds to these changes with tiny rhythm variations. Its rate may rise slightly during inhalation. It may fall again during a calm exhalation. These variations reflect healthy communication with the autonomic nervous system. The heart is steady without becoming rigid. Its rhythm bends gently around breathing, movement, and sleep stage. Now imagine the electrical signal beginning another heartbeat. Specialized pacemaker cells slowly change their electrical charge. When a threshold is reached, a new signal spreads through the atria. The upper chambers contract and move blood downward. The signal pauses briefly at a small connection point. Then it travels through pathways within the ventricles. The lower chambers contract in a coordinated sequence. Blood enters the lungs and the wider body. The heart muscle then relaxes and fills again. This entire pattern repeats thousands of times during one night. Each beat contains contraction, release, and preparation. The heart works continuously by alternating effort with rest. Now let that rhythm fade into the background again. It does not need to be felt or imagined clearly. The journey moves toward the kidneys within the back of the abdomen. At night, hormonal signals can reduce the amount of urine produced. One important hormone helps the kidneys conserve additional water. Its release follows sleep and daily timing patterns. This allows many people to sleep for hours without waking. The kidneys still filter blood and adjust chemical balance. They simply change how much water returns to circulation. Sodium, potassium, acidity, and waste remain carefully regulated. The bladder gradually receives urine through two narrow tubes. Its muscular wall stretches as volume slowly increases. Stretch receptors report fullness to the spinal cord and brain. During sleep, These signals may remain below conscious awareness. When the bladder becomes sufficiently full, waking may become more likely. The body balances uninterrupted sleep with practical protection. Now imagine the bladder still quiet and comfortable. Its outlet muscles remain closed without requiring conscious effort. The nervous system coordinates storage until an appropriate time. Similar automatic control operates throughout the digestive tract. Muscles hold, release, mix, and move material in careful sequences. Some control comes from the enteric nervous system within the gut. This network can organize many digestive movements independently. The brain influences it but does not direct every contraction. The intestine has its own sensory cells, reflexes, and local circuits. It responds to stretching, nutrients, microbes, and chemical conditions. This is why digestion can continue while attention is elsewhere. Tonight, the gut moves according to its slower nighttime rhythm. Now drift into the large intestine and its microbial ecosystem. Different microbes use different food residues, reaching this region. Some specialize in fibers that human enzymes cannot digest. Their metabolism produces smaller molecules used by neighboring microbes. Other products can support cells lining the intestine. Microbial communities form chains of cooperation and competition. Their balance shifts with meals, timing, medicine, stress, and environment. No single ideal microbiome exists for every person. Healthy communities can differ greatly between individuals. What matters is often function, resilience, and interaction with the host. The intestinal wall keeps most microbes within the digestive space. Mucus, immune cells, and tightly connected lining cells protect the boundary. This barrier allows useful exchange without allowing unrestricted entry. During sleep, gut activity continues within the body's daily rhythm. Now imagine gentle waves moving through the intestinal muscles. Circular muscles narrow the passage behind its contents. Longitudinal muscles help shorten and move each section. These coordinated patterns guide material gradually forward. Other movements mix contents rather than transporting them far. This allows enzymes and microbes more contact with available nutrients. The pace is slow, especially within the large intestine. A complete journey through digestion can require many hours. The body is patient with processes that cannot be rushed. Let that patience enter your own resting mind. Nothing important needs to happen immediately. Sleep may arrive slowly and still arrive naturally. Now the journey rises toward the liver once more. The liver helps manage energy throughout the sleeping fast. Stored glycogen can be broken down to release glucose. When glycogen becomes lower, other pathways can create additional glucose. Fatty acids supply energy to many tissues during this period. The liver also produces ketone molecules in greater amounts during longer fasting. During an ordinary night, these changes remain gentle and balanced. Hormones guide which fuels are released and used. Insulin levels generally become lower between meals. Glucagon helps make stored energy available. The brain, pancreas, liver, and muscles exchange continuous information. Energy arrives where needed without requiring a midnight meal. Your body carries enough stored resources for the quiet hours. Now imagine the warmth produced by metabolism throughout the body. Every chemical reaction releases or absorbs small amounts of energy. Much of the energy used by cells eventually becomes heat. Blood transports this heat from active organs toward the skin. Vessels near the surface adjust their width according to temperature. Warm blood may flow toward hands and feet before sleep. This helps the body release core heat into the environment. The core temperature can then fall slightly. That gentle decline is associated with the usual sleep period. Later, toward morning, temperature begins rising again. The internal clock helps coordinate this repeating daily curve. You do not experience the full pattern consciously. Perhaps you only notice feeling warmer beneath the blanket. Now drift toward a sweat gland resting within the skin. During comfortable sleep, it may remain mostly quiet. If temperature rises, signals can activate sweat production. Water reaches the skin through a winding microscopic duct. Evaporation then removes heat from the surface. Sweat itself does not cool until it begins evaporating. Humidity, airflow, clothing, and bedding influence this process. The body also changes position or uncovers a limb when needed. Behavior and physiology work together in temperature control. Even during sleep, simple movements protect comfort. You may turn, stretch, or move the blanket without remembering. The sleeping body remains capable of caring for itself. Now imagine the deep muscles along the spine. They have supported posture across the entire waking day. Some stabilized each vertebra during small movements. Others held the head and trunk against gravity. In bed, the need for this constant support decreases. Muscle fibers can reduce their activity and release tension. Blood flow continues bringing oxygen and carrying away waste. Microscopic areas of wear begin their gradual restoration. Connective tissues redistribute water after daytime loading. Discs between vertebrae can absorb fluid more easily while lying down. The spine may lengthen slightly during the night. This change is small, natural, and temporary. Morning movement and gravity will gradually compress the discs again. The body moves between loading and recovery each day. Now let your back feel broad and fully supported. There is no need to hold the spine in place. The mattress receives its weight along many points. The muscles can soften around the bones beneath them. Let the neck release any remaining effort. Let the shoulders settle toward the surface below. Let the hips become heavy and still. The skeleton does not need to carry you upright. For these hours, gravity is no longer an opponent. It simply holds you gently against the bed. Now drift toward the brain's map of the body. Different cortical regions receive signals from different body areas. Hands, lips, and face receive especially detailed representation. Their dense sensory receptors provide rich information during waking life. During sleep, this body map remains present but less connected with attention. Dreams can sometimes alter the map in unusual ways. You may feel lighter, larger, smaller, or strangely positioned. The brain can construct body sensations without matching actual posture. These experiences show how perception depends upon interpretation. The body remains safely resting even when dream sensations become unusual. You do not need to control any image or feeling that appears. The sleeping mind can create and release them freely. Now imagine the hippocampus revisiting a quiet memory. Perhaps it is a familiar room, a gentle path, or morning light. Patterns from the memory appear briefly across connected brain regions. The hippocampus may help coordinate their reactivation. Over time, some memories depend less upon this temporary organizer. They become more widely integrated within cortical networks. Sleep may support this gradual redistribution. The process is not a simple transfer from one location to another. Memory changes as it becomes connected with older knowledge. Details may fade while meaning becomes stronger. A single night contributes only one small part. Learning unfolds through repeated waking, experience, and rest. Now, let today's memories become distant and softened. They do not need to remain vivid tonight. The brain may keep what is useful and release unnecessary detail. A conversation can lose its sharp edges. A task can wait quietly until morning. An unfinished thought can remain safely unfinished. Rest does not require every problem to be solved. The sleeping brain is allowed to pause conscious planning. Frontal networks involved in control become less dominant. Images and associations can move more freely. This freedom may become the beginning of a dream. Now, the journey begins to dissolve into one quiet sensation. The body is no longer a collection of separate systems. It becomes one warm field of movement and rest. Blood circulates, breath flows, and cells exchange tiny signals. Bones provide shelter while muscles release their weight. The immune system watches without creating alarm. The microbiome continues its hidden ecosystem within the gut. The brain moves between slow waves, brief rhythms, and dreams. Hormones rise and fall according to the darkness. Temperature drifts along its gentle nighttime curve. Repair continues in countless places, too small to feel. You do not need to remain awake for any of it. Let the words become quieter than the breath. Let the meaning disappear before the sound is gone. Your body can continue without a guide. Your thoughts can loosen without reaching a conclusion. The bed remains steady beneath you. The room remains safely beyond your closed eyes, and the journey continues peacefully, even as you drift away. The journey now moves through the quiet spaces where the body senses its own condition. These signals are sometimes called interoception, the inward sense of breathing, heartbeat, fullness, warmth, and tension. Most remain beneath awareness, guiding small adjustments throughout the night. Receptors within arteries detect pressure as each pulse travels past. Others notice oxygen, carbon dioxide, acidity, stretching, and changing chemical levels. Signals rise through nerves toward the brainstem and deeper brain regions. The brain combines this information into a general feeling of the body's inner state. You may experience comfort, thirst, hunger, warmth, or uneasiness without knowing every signal involved. Tonight, these messages continue arriving quietly beneath the surface of sleep. They help the body respond before conscious attention becomes necessary. Now imagine the heart sending another gentle pulse through the arteries. Pressure receptors near the neck and chest sense the stretching vessel walls. If pressure rises, the nervous system can slightly slow the heart. Blood vessels may also relax, allowing pressure to return toward balance. If pressure falls, the response gently changes in the opposite direction. These corrections happen within moments and repeat throughout the night. Breathing, dreams, and small movements can all influence the pressure briefly. The body accepts these variations and continues adjusting without alarm. Now follow a signal from the stomach toward the brain. Stretch receptors. Notice how much the stomach wall has expanded. Chemical signals report nutrients entering the digestive system. Hormones travel through blood, carrying messages about fullness and available energy. The vagus nerve also carries information upward from the digestive organs. The brain combines these signals with memory, habit, timing, and emotion. Hunger is therefore more than an empty space inside the stomach. It is a changing experience created by many systems working together. During sleep, these signals usually remain quiet enough to avoid waking. Stored energy supports the body until the next meal arrives. Now drift toward the small intestine, where absorption continues after eating. Its muscular wall, creates gentle mixing movements between slower waves of transport. These movements bring nutrients close to the folded inner surface. Each fold is covered with villi, and each villus contains smaller microvilli. Together, they create an enormous area for exchange. Sugars and amino acids usually enter nearby blood vessels. Many fats enter tiny lymphatic vessels before reaching the bloodstream. Vitamins and minerals follow pathways suited to their chemical properties. Water moves according to concentration, pressure, and the needs of nearby tissues. The intestine is selective rather than simply open to everything passing through. Special transport proteins help particular nutrients cross the lining. Tight connections between cells help maintain a protective barrier. The lining continually renews because it meets constant movement and chemical activity. New cells rise from protected regions deep between the villi. Older cells reach the surface and eventually leave the lining. This rapid renewal helps digestion remain safe and efficient. Now imagine nutrients traveling from the intestine toward the liver. Blood from much of the digestive tract first enters the portal circulation. This route carries absorbed substances directly toward liver tissue. The liver receives them before they spread widely through the body. Glucose may be stored, released, or transformed according to current needs. Amino acids may support new proteins or enter energy pathways. Vitamins and minerals may be stored for later use. Some substances are changed before they can circulate farther. The liver acts like a thoughtful meeting place between digestion and metabolism. It does not make one permanent decision for every nutrient. Its response changes with meals, hormones, activity, and time of day. Tonight, the liver continues managing the slow transition between eating and fasting. Now drift into a liver cell within the warm darkness beneath the ribs. Thousands of chemical reactions occur inside this single cell. Enzymes guide each step, allowing reactions to happen safely and efficiently. Some pathways build larger molecules from smaller pieces. Others break stored materials apart to release energy or useful components. The same cell may change its activity as hormones rise and fall. Insulin encourages certain storage pathways after food. Glucagon supports energy release between meals. Cortisol, thyroid hormones, and nervous signals also influence metabolism. No signal acts alone or controls every process. Balance emerges from several messages arriving together. The cell responds according to its history, surroundings, and current energy state. Now imagine glycogen stored within liver and muscle cells. Glycogen is a branching form used to hold many glucose molecules. The liver can release glucose into the bloodstream between meals. Muscles usually keep their glycogen for their own local activity. During sleep, the liver supports tissues needing a stable energy supply. Fat stores provide additional fuel to many resting organs. The body moves gradually between different energy sources. This flexibility protects the brain and heart during hours without food. You do not need to eat, move, or consciously manage this transition. The sleeping body already carries the resources needed for the night. Let your abdomen remain soft as these processes continue. There is no need to hold the muscles tightly around the organs. The diaphragm can descend freely with every quiet inhalation. The abdominal wall can rise and fall without resistance. Now the journey moves toward the kidneys and their precise chemical sensing. Each nephron receives filtered fluid containing water and many dissolved substances. The first sections return most useful material toward the bloodstream. Later sections make finer adjustments under hormonal guidance. Sodium can be conserved or released according to circulation and body needs. Water follows changes in salts and specialized channel proteins. Potassium and acidity are also carefully controlled. Small changes here influence nerves, muscles, and the heartbeat. The kidneys maintain this balance through millions of repeated microscopic decisions. They also help regulate the concentration of the blood. When water is limited, urine can become more concentrated. When water is plentiful, more may leave the body safely. A hormone released from the brain helps guide water conservation. Another hormonal system helps manage sodium, pressure, and circulation. These systems respond to one another through layered feedback. The result is stability created through constant change. Now imagine the quiet bladder receiving fluid drop by drop. Muscular walls gradually stretch without contracting strongly. Nerves report increasing fullness toward the spinal cord and brain. During sleep, the brain often reduces attention to these signals. Only stronger messages are likely to bring awareness toward waking. The body protects sleep while remaining responsive to practical needs. This balance allows many uninterrupted hours of rest. Now drift upward toward the adrenal glands resting above the kidneys. Their outer layers produce hormones involved in salt, metabolism, and long-term stress response. Their inner regions can release rapid signals during sudden alertness. During peaceful sleep, these emergency pathways usually remain quiet, yet the glands continue following daily hormonal rhythms. Cortisol generally becomes lower during earlier parts of the night. It then begins rising gradually before the usual waking time. This rise helps prepare energy, blood pressure, and attention for morning. The process begins before sunlight reaches your conscious awareness. The body is always anticipating the next phase of its rhythm. For now, the darker hours still support deeper rest. Morning remains distant and requires no preparation from you. Now imagine hormones released in brief waves during sleep. Many endocrine signals are pulsatile rather than constant. A hormone level rises, communicates for a time, then falls again. These pulses can prevent tissues from becoming less responsive. They also allow different signals to occur at useful moments. Growth hormone often rises in stronger pulses during early deep sleep. It supports protein maintenance, tissue repair, and metabolic regulation. Other hormones follow rhythms linked with sleep stages and biological time. The body communicates not only through concentration, but through timing. A message arriving at night may produce a different response from daytime. Cells themselves contain internal clocks influencing their sensitivity. Now drift toward a cell's molecular clock. Certain genes produce proteins that gradually increase and then limit their own production. This feedback creates a rhythm lasting close to 24 hours. Light helps synchronize the central clock inside the brain. Meals and movement can influence clocks within the liver and digestive system. Temperature and hormones carry timing information across many tissues. Each organ keeps local time while remaining connected to the larger rhythm. These clocks are not perfectly precise or permanently fixed. They adjust gradually when daily routines or time zones change. The body seeks alignment between internal rhythms and the outside world. Tonight, darkness helps keep many of these rhythms coordinated. Now imagine the central clock deep within the hypothalamus. It receives light information indirectly from the eyes. Special retinal cells respond strongly to overall brightness. Their signals help distinguish daytime from biological night. These cells are different from those mainly responsible for detailed vision. Even light not consciously noticed can influence internal timing. During darkness, the pineal gland increases melatonin production. Melatonin travels through blood and reaches tissues throughout the body. It signals nighttime rather than forcing sleep directly. The body becomes more prepared for the conditions of rest. Temperature begins its nighttime decline, and alertness becomes easier to release. Now let the darkness behind your eyelids feel calm and complete. You do not need to search for light or any particular image. the visual system can rest from focusing on the outside world. Photoreceptors within the retina continue their own maintenance. Visual pigments are renewed after responding to light during the day. Retinal cells exchange nutrients and waste with supporting tissues nearby. The eye is active even when no scene is being watched. Tears, lids, and gentle movements protect the outer surfaces. During certain sleep stages, the eyes remain mostly still. During dreaming sleep, they begin moving beneath the closed lids. The visual brain may then create images without outside light. Now imagine a dream beginning as a faint shape. Perhaps it forms from a memory of a room or a quiet landscape. Another memory supplies color, while emotion supplies atmosphere. The scene may change before becoming fully clear. A doorway can lead somewhere impossible without surprising the dreaming mind. The brain combines fragments without following waking rules. Dreams often borrow recent experiences and older memories together. They may include concerns, wishes, sounds, or bodily sensations. A blanket can become warmth from sunlight within a dream. A distant sound can become part of an imagined place. The brain weaves inner and outer signals into one temporary world. There is no need to understand what any dream means. It may simply be the sleeping brain exploring its own patterns. Now drift toward the hippocampus, deep within the temporal regions. It helps link the many details of an experience. Places, events, sequences, and relationships depend partly upon its activity. During sleep, some recently active patterns may appear again. This replay can happen much faster than the original experience. It may help strengthen connections between hippocampus and cortex. Different sleep stages may support different forms of memory processing. Deep sleep is often connected with stabilizing certain factual memories. Dreaming sleep may support emotional and procedural aspects in other ways. Research continues exploring how these processes work together. The complete picture remains complex and still developing, yet rest clearly changes how the brain handles recent experience. You do not need to guide this quiet organization. The mind can decide what to strengthen and what to let fade. Now imagine a learned movement stored across many brain regions. Perhaps it is typing, walking, pouring tea, or opening a familiar door. Motor skills depend upon the cortex, cerebellum, basal ganglia, and sensory feedback. Practice changes. Connections among these systems. Sleep can support the stabilization of some recently practiced skills. The movement may feel easier after rest without conscious rehearsal. Your brain continues learning after practice has ended. Now drift toward the cerebellum at the back of the brain. It contains more neurons than the rest of the brain combined. Its tightly organized circuits help coordinate timing, balance, and movement. It compares intended actions with sensory feedback from the body. Small corrections occur before movements become clumsy or unstable. The cerebellum also participates in learning repeated motor patterns. Even smooth eye movements depend partly upon its careful timing. During sleep, activity within these circuits changes with each stage. The cerebellum remains connected with dreaming, memory, and internal body signals. It is not merely a balance center waiting for morning. Like every brain region, it participates in wider networks. Now follow a signal toward the inner ear once again. The semicircular canals detect turning movements of the head. Tiny crystals within nearby organs help sense gravity and straight movement. The brain compares these signals with vision and proprioception. When the signals agree, balance feels natural and effortless. In darkness, the body relies more heavily upon the inner ear and body position. Yet while lying still, balance requires very little active correction. The neck muscles can soften because the pillow supports the head. The inner ear remains quiet, sensing only small movements. If you turn during sleep, fluid shifts gently within these structures. The brain updates its understanding of your new position. There is no need to become fully awake. Now let your head feel heavy within the support beneath it. The skull can release its weight through the pillow, the jaw can loosen, and the tongue can remain still. The muscles around the ears and scalp require no effort. Let the face become expressionless and peaceful. Now imagine signals descending through the spinal cord. Motor pathways normally carry instructions toward muscles throughout the body. Sensory pathways carry information upward toward the brain. The cord also contains local circuits capable of simple reflexes. Sudden painful stimulus can produce movement before conscious recognition. During ordinary sleep, these protective pathways remain available. The spinal cord is not disconnected when awareness fades. It continues relaying, coordinating, and filtering information. Protected by vertebrae and surrounding fluid, it rests within the spine. Nerves branch outward between vertebrae toward organs, skin, and muscles. Some travel only short distances. Others extend from the lower spine toward the feet. The body's communication network reaches nearly every living region. Now imagine a nerve fiber wrapped in myelin. This insulating layer is formed by specialized supporting cells. Small gaps allow electrical signals to leap efficiently along the fiber. The result is rapid communication across long distances. A signal can travel from spine to foot within a fraction of a second. Myelin also reduces energy required for repeated signaling. Supporting cells maintain and repair these insulating layers over time. The nervous system depends upon both neurons and the cells around them. No message travels through an isolated wire. It moves within living tissue that feeds, protects, and regulates it. Now drift toward the junction between a nerve and a muscle. The nerve releases a messenger when movement is required. Receptors on the muscle surface receive the chemical signal. Calcium is released inside the muscle fiber. Proteins slide past one another, shortening the fiber. When the signal ends, calcium returns to storage. The muscle relaxes and prepares for another movement. During sleep, voluntary commands become quieter. Many fibers remain inactive for long stretches. Other muscles continue essential work for breathing and airway support. Small twitches may appear without becoming full movements. During dreaming sleep, large muscles become especially inhibited. This protects the body while the brain creates active dream scenes. Now imagine yourself walking inside a dream. The brain produces signals representing movement, balance, and intention, yet much of the physical body remains safely still. Only the eyes, breathing muscles, and occasional small twitches remain active. A complex journey can happen without the feet leaving the bed. The brain creates the experience using memory and internal simulation. When waking returns, the dream movement quickly dissolves. The real body remains supported exactly where it was. Now drift toward the muscles between the ribs. These intercostal muscles assist the changing shape of the chest. During calm inhalation, the outer group helps raise and expand the ribs. During quiet exhalation, elastic tissues often provide most of the return. Stronger breathing can recruit additional chest and abdominal muscles. During peaceful sleep, breathing usually remains gentle and economical. The diaphragm performs much of the work. This broad muscle contracts rhythmically beneath the lungs. Its movement changes pressure within both chest and abdomen. It supports airflow, circulation, lymph movement, and organ motion together. One simple rhythm connects many systems at once. Let your breathing remain easy and small. A sleeping breath does not need to be deep or impressive. It only needs to meet the body's present needs. Now, imagine the thin membrane surrounding the lungs. Two smooth layers remain close together with fluid between them. One follows the lung surface, while the other lines the chest wall. The fluid allows them to glide with very little friction. Pressure between them helps the lungs follow chest movement. When the ribs expand, the lungs expand as well. When the chest relaxes, elastic tissue helps the lungs become smaller. The lungs are soft, light, and filled with branching airways. They do not sit like heavy solid organs within the chest. Their texture resembles a delicate sponge filled with air and blood vessels. Every breath changes their shape in quiet and complex ways. Now follow carbon dioxide leaving a resting cell. It crosses into nearby fluid and then enters a capillary. Some dissolves directly within plasma. Some binds to proteins within red blood cells. Much is transformed into bicarbonate for easier transport. The blood carries it toward the heart and then the lungs. Inside lung capillaries, the chemical process reverses. Carbon dioxide reforms and diffuses into the air sacs. The next exhalation carries it gently into the room. Your breathing therefore completes cellular energy cycles throughout the body. Each outward breath releases material created by countless living cells, yet the sensation remains simple and peaceful. Air enters, air leaves, and life continues between them. Now let the exhalation become a quiet release. The body has no need to hold the air once its work is complete. Another breath will arrive naturally after the brief pause. Now drift toward the skin and its nighttime blood flow. Small vessels widen or narrow according to heat and nervous signals. Warm blood near the surface helps release internal heat. Hands and feet can act as important regions for heat exchange. Their specialized vessels can carry larger amounts of blood when needed. This may help explain why warm feet often accompany sleepiness. The core can cool while the skin feels comfortably warm. Under the blanket, this balance continues through small changes. If warmth becomes excessive, you may move or uncover part of the body. If the skin cools, vessels may narrow and the blanket may be drawn closer. These adjustments can happen before conscious discomfort appears. The body continues caring for temperature throughout every sleep stage. Now imagine a tiny hair follicle within the skin. A hair grows from dividing cells protected beneath the surface. Nearby glands release oil that softens hair and skin. A small muscle can raise the hair during cold or strong emotion. This creates the familiar appearance of goosebumps. In humans, the effect provides little insulation compared with thick animal fur. Yet the ancient reflex remains within the nervous system. Many features of the body carry traces of distant evolutionary history. The structure of bones, nerves, muscles, and organs reflects countless generations. Your body is both personal and deeply ancient. Its basic patterns were shaped long before any human memory. Now drift toward the bones of the hand or foot. Their shapes develop through growth, movement, and inherited instructions. Growth plates once allowed long bones to lengthen during childhood. These regions gradually closed after growth was complete. Bone remained alive afterward, continuing to remodel throughout adulthood. Mechanical stress influences where new material is placed. Hormones, minerals, nutrition, and activity guide this process. Some bone is continuously removed by specialized cells. Other cells create new matrix and add minerals. This balanced renewal repairs small areas and maintains useful strength. Even while resting, your skeleton is never completely finished. It continues adapting across years rather than hours. Now imagine calcium moving between bone and bloodstream. Most body calcium is stored within the skeleton. A much smaller amount circulates in blood and supports essential functions. Nerves and muscles require calcium for signaling and contraction. The body therefore regulates blood calcium within a narrow range. Hormones influence absorption, storage, release, and kidney handling. Bones participate in this balance as living mineral reservoirs. The skeleton supports not only shape, but chemistry as well. Now drift toward the marrow-producing blood cells inside certain bones. A stem cell receives signals from its surrounding environment. It may remain quiet or begin a pathway toward specialization. Through several stages, it becomes a red cell, platelet-producing cell, or immune cell. Each pathway activates different genes and cellular structures. The developing cell changes shape, behavior, and future function. Eventually, it enters blood or tissue to begin its work. The body is always creating new cells while removing older ones. Continuity depends upon carefully managed replacement. The person resting here is never made from exactly the same collection of cells, yet the overall pattern remains familiar and stable. Now let that idea become peaceful and distant. Change does not always mean loss. Within the body, change is often the method of staying whole. Old cells leave so protective surfaces can remain strong. Worn proteins are recycled so new structures can function. Memories change as they connect with growing understanding. Bone changes to remain suited to movement and pressure. The body preserves itself through gentle renewal. Tonight, that renewal continues in countless small places. You do not need to feel it or imagine each step. Now the journey broadens across the whole sleeping body. The brain listens inwardly while attention to the room becomes softer. The heart adjusts its rhythm around breathing and changing sleep stages. The lungs exchange gases through delicate membranes. The kidneys balance water, minerals, and acidity. The liver manages energy and processes circulating substances. The intestine absorbs, moves, renews, and supports its microbial ecosystem. Bone marrow releases new cells into the bloodstream. Skin protects the boundary while sensing warmth and pressure. Muscles release daytime effort and repair. Small areas of ordinary use. Hormones follow patterns shaped by darkness and internal time. Each system remains separate enough to perform its own work, yet each remains connected through blood, nerves, chemistry, and shared rhythms. The body is not governed by one single center. It is coordinated through many conversations occurring at once. Now let those conversations fade into one gentle background hum. There is nothing you need to answer. There is no signal requiring your conscious reply. The body can continue its dialogue without words. Let the mind become a quiet observer. Then release even that role. You are allowed to disappear from attention for a while. The breathing will continue. The circulation will continue. The inner clocks will continue measuring the night, and the body will continue carrying you softly toward morning. Let the final clear thoughts become less important now. A sentence may dissolve before it reaches its end. An image may appear without needing explanation. A memory may pass without asking to be followed. The quiet journey remains beneath all of these fading experiences. You may drift farther away while every essential system continues its patient work. The journey now begins to slow, as though the body itself is dimming the lights. We have traveled through breathing, circulation, memory, movement, digestion, repair, and the quiet rhythm of sleep. Now there is nowhere else you need to go. Let the entire body become one warm and peaceful place. You no longer need to picture individual organs, cells, vessels, or nerves. They can continue their work beyond the edges of your attention. The lungs keep opening softly within the shelter of the ribs. Air enters, oxygen crosses into blood, and carbon dioxide leaves with each gentle exhalation. This exchange continues whether you notice it or not. The diaphragm moves downward, then rises again beneath the lungs. Its rhythm shifts pressure through the chest and abdomen. Each movement supports breathing, circulation, and the slow return of lymph. You may allow the breath to become smaller now. There is no need to fill the lungs completely or control the timing. A quiet sleeping breath is already enough. The heart continues resting between its steady contractions. Blood enters, chambers fill, valves open, and another pulse begins. Each beat carries warmth and oxygen to the sleeping body. The rhythm may change slightly as you breathe. It may slow during deeper sleep and become less regular during dreams. The heart remains responsive, flexible, and calm. You do not need to listen for it. You do not need to count it. The next heartbeat will arrive without your attention. Blood continues flowing through arteries, capillaries, and veins. Red cells release oxygen near tissues that require it. They collect carbon dioxide and begin their quiet journey back toward the lungs. Plasma carries nutrients, hormones, proteins, water, and countless chemical messages. The bloodstream connects distant organs within moments. A signal released near the brain can influence the kidneys. A hormone from the pancreas can change activity within muscles and liver cells. A message from the intestine can reach the nervous system. The body is always speaking to itself. Most of this conversation never becomes a conscious thought. It remains beneath awareness, steady and beautifully organized. Tonight, you may let that hidden communication continue without you. The kidneys keep filtering blood through millions of delicate nephrons. Useful water and minerals return to circulation. Waste and excess fluid continue slowly toward the bladder. The liver balances stored energy between the evening meal and morning. It processes nutrients, hormones, and natural products of metabolism. Its cells continue thousands of quiet reactions within the darkness. The digestive tract moves at its patient nighttime pace. Muscles mix and guide material through winding passages. The intestinal lining continues absorbing, protecting, and renewing itself. Within the large intestine, countless microorganisms continue their own small lives. They use fibers and other materials reaching their hidden ecosystem. Some produce substances supporting nearby intestinal cells. Others interact gently with the immune system and surrounding environment. There is no sound from this inner community. There is only slow chemical activity within a warm and sheltered world. Your immune system also continues its quiet watch. Cells move through blood, tissues, lymph vessels, and resting organs. Most find nothing requiring urgent attention. They simply observe, communicate, and maintain readiness. Bone marrow continues, producing new blood cells. Young red cells prepare to carry oxygen. White cells develop specialized protective roles. Platelets become ready for small repairs within damaged vessels. Your bones are not silent structures. They remain living tissues filled with cells, minerals, vessels, and changing internal spaces. Some bone is gently removed while new material is placed. This remodeling happens slowly across months and years. Tonight contributes only a few quiet moments to that continuing renewal. Muscles also enter their calmer nighttime state. Fibers release the work of standing, walking, lifting, speaking, and holding posture. Energy use becomes lower as movement fades. Small areas of ordinary wear receive nutrients and begin gradual repair. The back no longer needs to hold you upright. The legs no longer need to carry your weight. The hands no longer need to grasp or complete another task. Let the fingers rest exactly where they have fallen. Let the feet become heavy beneath the blanket. Let the shoulders sink toward the bed. The mattress supports the skeleton through many quiet points of contact. Pressure receptors notice the surface beneath you, then gradually become less responsive. The steady sensation fades as the brain learns. Nothing is changing. The body is supported, and attention can move elsewhere. Your skin remains the gentle boundary of this sleeping world. Its outer layers protect against water loss and unwanted material. Deeper cells divide, move upward, and prepare to join the surface. Blood vessels widen or narrow according to temperature. Sweat glands remain ready if additional cooling becomes necessary. Warmth moves from the core toward the hands, feet, and skin. Core temperature continues its natural nighttime decline. This cooling supports the biological conditions of sleep. Later, before morning, temperature will slowly rise again. The body will prepare for waking long before you make any decision. But morning does not need your attention yet. The night still surrounds you. There is time for deeper rest. Inside the brain, waking networks become less coordinated. Thoughts lose their clear beginnings and endings. Images may appear without explanation, then disappear before becoming complete. This is not confusion that needs correction. It is the natural loosening of waking attention. The thalamus reduces the flow of many outside signals toward conscious awareness. Steady sounds become distant and unimportant. The room continues existing, but the brain no longer needs to examine it. Slow waves may pass across wide regions of the cortex. Brief sleep spindles may help protect rest from small disturbances. Memories from the day may appear again within hidden patterns of activity. Some connections become stronger, others become quieter, or join older knowledge in new ways. You do not need to select which memories remain. The sleeping brain can organize experience without conscious planning. A name, a voice, or an unfinished task may drift past. Let it pass without following. Everything important can wait until morning. During dreaming sleep, the brain may build another world. A familiar room may open into a forest. A hallway may lead toward the sea. Time may move strangely. While impossible events feel completely ordinary, the body remains safe and still beneath these changing scenes. Most large muscles become quiet while the dream continues. The eyes may move gently beneath closed lids. Breathing and heartbeat may change as the dream changes. You may enter such a world without noticing the moment of transition. One sentence may become an image. One thought may become a place. One breath may carry you beyond waking awareness. There is no need to search for sleep. Searching keeps the mind facing outward. Sleep arrives more easily when nothing is being demanded from it. You are allowed to remain awake a little longer. You are allowed to drift slowly. Rest itself already reduces effort throughout the body. The lungs continue breathing. The heart continues circulating. The nervous system continues protecting. The cells continue repairing and renewing. Nothing is waiting for you to perform sleep correctly. There is no perfect posture, perfect breath, or perfect thought. The body has slept through noise, change, worry, warmth, cold, and countless imperfect nights. It knows how to use whatever rest becomes available. Let that knowledge remove the final pressure from the mind. You are not responsible for the next sleep stage. You are not responsible for the next dream. You are not responsible for the quiet work of repair. Now imagine the entire body surrounded by a soft inner darkness. Within it, vessels branch like peaceful rivers. Nerves stretch like delicate threads of light. The lungs open like slow wings. The heart creates gentle waves through the warm current of blood. The brain rests beneath the shelter of bone. The spine lies supported from the neck to the pelvis. The organs settle within their soft membranes and connective tissues. Everything has room to move. Everything has room to rest. Everything continues within its own careful rhythm. Let the scientific details dissolve completely now. There is no need to remember the names of hormones or cells. There is no need to recall pathways, stages, or structures. Keep only the feeling of a body quietly caring for itself. This body has carried you through every ordinary day and has breathed while you were distracted. It has repaired while you were unaware. It has balanced temperature, water, energy, and chemistry without being asked. It has learned, adapted, protected, and renewed. Tonight, it continues the same patient work. You may trust it for the remaining hours. Let the forehead become smooth. Let the space around the eyes become soft and heavy. Let the jaw release, with the teeth resting apart. Let the tongue settle gently inside the mouth. Allow the throat to remain open and comfortable. The shoulders can release downward. The arms can become warm and distant. The palms can rest without holding anything. The chest rises a little, then falls again. The abdomen remains soft beneath the movement of the diaphragm. The hips become heavy. The thighs release their final tension. The knees need no strength. The calves soften. The ankles and feet become quiet at the far edge of awareness. The whole body is resting now. Perhaps thoughts are still passing through the mind. They may continue for a while. You do not need to push them away. Imagine each thought becoming lighter as it moves past. A thought can arrive, remain briefly, and disappear. Another may follow without needing an answer. Soon, the spaces between thoughts may begin feeling wider. Within those spaces, the body continues breathing. Within those spaces, the heart continues beating. Within those spaces, sleep may already be beginning. Take one final gentle breath without making it unusually deep. Feel the air arrive through the nose and move quietly toward the lungs. Then let it leave slowly, carrying no effort with it. The next breath can happen alone. The next heartbeat can happen alone. The next moment can happen alone. You do not need to follow the journey any farther. The inner world will remain warm, active, and peaceful without narration. Its rivers will continue flowing. Its signals will continue traveling. Its cells will continue repairing through the darkness. And you may drift beyond the words, beyond the room, and gently into sleep.